do have a lot of standing water and street flooding remaining from all of the rain that we've seen over the last couple of days. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Southern Cancer Center. Weather Center.
More thunder expected on this Thursday, and we also have a tornado watch for our entire viewing area until 1 p.m. An 80% chance of rainstorms, a high today of 84, a muggy night in the 70s, less rain for your TGIF. Friday will bring a 40% chance of showers. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
The music.
Take the vocals of Steven Tyler. Add the guitar of Keith Richards. Stir in the drums of Neil Peart. Serving up steaming hot classic rock. 96.1 The Rocket.
Follow us on Facebook. Click on that little F at newsradio710.com. Roll Tide. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry KP here. You can smoke, cuss, and chew. You can gamble. You can go get hammered, drunk. You can wreck the car. You can forget to pay the light bill, but you sure as heck better not wake the baby. That's what I've learned.
Message deleted.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for watching on the CW55. Now we're available on Facebook, on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page if you want to watch the video there. Coming up in less than 10 minutes, Bill Zimfer of NBC News Radio. We'll talk to Bill Zimfer about what's going on between the U.S. and Russia in Syria. There have been some, you may not have noticed all this news because we've had a lot going on. But there have been some things shot down and people threatening each other, and so we'll find out what the latest is. Coming up in about 10 minutes with Bill Zimfer. And there are many other items to get to. Most of our local news has to do with impacts from Cindy, Tropical Storm Cindy, and all of the related moisture. Beyond that, we've got the Republicans allegedly going to reveal details of their health care bill today, so we'll have that to look forward to. I did see the story, you probably saw this too, about a lady in, I think in Houston, Texas, getting a lot of publicity because she, I think it was yesterday or the day before, underwent 8 surgeries to look like Melania Trump. So I saw that headline and I started looking at the story, trying to see if I could understand something about the psychology of this, the human nature involved. She's having her chest was redone, her nose, her stomach, liposuction, her rear end was lifted somehow, her eyelids, Botox fillers, and then there were unspecified injectable things, according to the Houston Chronicle, all these different procedures to make her look like Melania Trump. And I was looking through this trying to see what is the, and I think, I thought, is there some psychological insight into human nature? Because she said that she feels like she's the first lady of her life inside of herself, and she wants to reflect that on her exterior. But then I read further down in the story and I got complete understanding. And that is that there was a press release and the woman's plastic surgery is going to be on a TV show, Inside Edition, in a few months. So that explained it. This is all about getting on TV. I'm glad to be on TV, by the way. I've enjoyed it, but I don't want to get operated on to be on. If that was the only way I could get on TV, is if they made me look like somebody, no thank you. You can keep the injectable things. But that's it. There's no, so don't look for the story thinking, wow, I might get an insight on human nature. No. Well, you can, but the human nature is really about greed and a desire to be famous, which I guess in modern America is like the number one. It may have surpassed money. People may want to be famous more than they want to be rich these days. But it was all about getting on TV. There's more to come. The Uncle Henry Show proceeding forward.
Radio for real men.
Surprise, surprise.
The Rush Revolution rolls on. Weekdays at 11, News Radio 710, WNTM.
This is Uncle Henry. I'm here with John McNeil of McNeil Aaron's Lambert Financial Group. John, I hear ads to call an 800 number to get term quotes. Now, what's the difference between those people and McNeil Aaron's Lambert?
Uncle Henry, we also have an 800 number if they want to call that. But seriously, there is more to life insurance planning than just finding the cheapest policy. However, we shop all the top-rated companies just like the 800 number shops, but we also help our clients make sure they have the right ownership and beneficiary designations for the proceeds. There will always be changes over the years, and we will be there to help. Also, at the time of claim, it is much easier to let us handle all the paperwork for you and your family rather than having to call an 800 number that connects you to somebody in India.
Folks, call the professionals at McNeil Aaron's Lambert and let them help you protect your family with affordable term life insurance. Call 666-5000. That's 666-5000. Or check them out online. It's malfinancial.com.
First house, last house, mid-south, court that side, porch, cul-de-sac, mid-south, court that brick house, townhouse, don't pay, court that dockside, poolside, outside, court that corner store, warehouse, mama's house, court that.
Tired of painting your home every 4 to 5 years? This is Kevin Mamahat, president of Mid-South Coatings. Better than paint, more durable than latex. Mid-South Coatings is the ultimate alternative to traditional paint. And with our lifetime warranty, you'll never have to paint your home again, guaranteed. If you live anywhere in the Gulf South, call for a free estimate. And since Mid-South Coatings is much thicker than paint, your home will look like it's just been freshly painted forever. So before you paint your home with traditional paint or any product, call Mid-South Coatings for a free estimate.
Call 251-27.
Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. We're in a radio break. Radio listener is hearing from our sponsors, also getting a traffic and weather update. Bill Zimfer of NBC News Radio is calling in, and we'll talk to Bill Zimfer here in just a moment about the situation in Syria. Before we get to him real quick, I'd mentioned to you earlier about the coffee pot problem. We're going to get to Bill Zimfer here in just a second. Real quick, an email from a listener. Subject line on the email is, Unc, fix that rude employee problem. And the email has a picture of a timer in it, and it says, pick up a used timer at the flea market for $1. This trick worked at my workplace. And that email from Harmon. Harmon, thank you for the email, but I don't think my coworkers will. If I brought a timer in and expected them to use it with the coffee pot, the vandalism, the timer would be vandalized, and I might be mocked for the rest of my career. So I appreciate you trying to offer a solution. I'm already mocked. So I don't, that would add additional mockery to me. So please, Harmon, thank you for the suggestion, but I've just got to work through the problem on some other level. All right, we're going to be on the radio here in about 90 seconds. Let me go ahead and bring Bill Zimfer on with us on television. Bill Zimfer, good morning.
Good morning, Henry. How are you?
Talking to you a bit earlier than, have you already been on a bunch of radio stations already?
I've been on a half dozen already, yeah.
On a half dozen? My goodness. People get their news early, don't they, Bill Zimfer?
They sure do, but none of them are like the Uncle Henry show, I can tell you that.
And that's unfortunate for my career. It really is. And I was telling before we're about to go on radio here in less than a minute, I was just, this is my first hour of the show, and I was explaining to my TV viewers that when I came in this morning, once again, somebody had left the coffee pot on all night long.
Ooh.
All night long!
Yeah.
And so it smells rather unpleasant here. All right, well, anyway, we're about to go on radio, and we're going to talk about this situation in Syria. We've had so much going on locally with the tropical weather. It's been hard for us to pay attention to a lot of the other things going on in the world,
Right.
things like Korea. And when was the last time something was shot down in Syria?
Well, the United States shot down a Syrian jet just last weekend, and that has kind of poured a little gasoline on the fire there.
Okay. All right, well, Bill Ziffer, stand by. In 15 seconds, we take the TV show and put it on radio, so to go nowhere, stand by.
I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News and this iHeartRadio station.
Your home for traffic and weather on the 9s every morning. This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I want to welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show, NBC News Radio's Bill Zimfer. Bill, you cover a lot of the foreign issues. We haven't been able to pay a lot of attention locally due to the weather.
Yeah.
But I see that tension, we continue to have tension with Russia over Syria. Now there was an incident over the weekend?
Yeah, over the weekend, a United States fighter jet shot down a Syrian warplane over Syria that they say was bombing U.S. allied forces. So a Syrian jet went down, and of course Russia immediately denounced that. And really, before that, and especially ever since, there have been encounters between U.S. aircraft and Russian aircraft, and we had a really close call this week, Henry, when a Russian fighter approached a U.S. reconnaissance aircraft over the Baltic Sea and came within 5 feet of the U.S. aircraft. Now, in aeronautical terms, that's a millimeter, 5 feet. I mean, that is a really close call, and things seem to be escalating a little bit. And when you look a little deeper into this, it turns out there have been more than 35 encounters in the Baltic Sea region between Russian aircraft and either U.S. or NATO aircraft since June 2nd. I mean, there have been a lot of encounters here, and they're starting to get a little bit too close for comfort.
So, Bill Zimfer, speculation on what is the point of this? Because it can't be in the best interest of Russia to collide with one of our jets or one of our ships. I mean, I can understand trying to one up the country or trying to get us to back off, but as you just mentioned, 5 feet might as well have hit.
Yeah, really. That's almost like that. And it's almost like Russia is doing their best to so-called poke the animal, just to jab at the United States and NATO a little bit in that area. As a matter of fact, yesterday, then Russia came back and said a NATO jet that was operated, it was a Polish jet, approached an aircraft carrying their defense minister, and it was chased off by a Russian fighter. Now, we all know that this dance between the U.S. and Russia and the former Soviet Union has been going on for a long time, where planes will probe an area in international airspace but get a little bit too close for comfort to a border and then have to be escorted away. And most of the time, I mean, our Pentagon people, our Air Force people agree that most of the time these are very professional, where they just kind of, okay, I'm getting a little bit too close for comfort, and I'll go the other way. But recently, it seems like we are getting very, very close. And Russia, after the U.S. shoot-down of that Syrian jet, actually came out and said, okay, any aircraft west of east of the Euphrates River in Syria, we are considering an enemy aircraft, and that includes the United States.
I know you have to run to be on numerous stations, Bill Zimfer, but before you go, do experts think that Russia is just doing this all for political gamesmanship, brinksmanship, or do they really want some kind of a conflict?
I can't believe that Russia would want some kind of a conflict here, but they would like nothing better than to put the United States into a bad light on the world stage. And maybe that's what they're trying to do here, despite the fact that, boy, we hear about all kinds of collusion between the U.S. government and Russia. I think we could use a little collusion these days, because it seems like we're not agreeing on an awful lot.
Bill Zimfer, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome, Henry, and again, stay safe down there.
Will do. Thank you very much. Bill Zimfer, NBC News Radio. Already on a half a dozen stations, iHeart stations around the country talking about that situation. So one vessel gets 5 feet from another. So in aeronautical terms, almost, I mean, how much closer can you get? Now, I'm thinking of locally, I know people that when they're out driving, if somebody gets that close to their car, they're going to chase them down, and there might be a confrontation. There could be a fist fight. Guns could be pulled. Just tremendous road rage. So this game of getting close, flying close and all that I don't see much good coming out of it. I don't see much good coming out of it at all. All right, look, we're getting close to, for the radio listener, a news break coming up here in a moment where you'll get all the latest. We're going to have local news, national news, traffic, weather, all of that. And for the TV viewer, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Let me see. Before we go, earlier I had a story about a woman in Texas that had 8 surgeries this week to look like Melania Trump. And I've got this email on the topic. Subject line on the email is First Lady Lookalike. Email reads, "Good day, Henry. If the Melania wannabe really wanted some quick and short-lived fame, she would have surgery to look like another First Lady. How about Martha Washington? That would be a real head-turner." And that email from the Common Man. Yeah, Common Man, it's I understand, I guess, or I'm aware that people are fame-seeking unlike ever before. But again, I can't imagine getting a surgery to seek fame. That is, to me, I don't want, fame is not worth being cut on. And yes, radio listener, you didn't get to see it, but Ariel did find us a wonderful Martha Washington portrait so that we could all imagine plastic surgery to look like. There'd be a lot of injecting going on if you wanted to look like Martha Washington. No offense to Martha Washington.
Your morning cup of Sean. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
I don't really give a rip about Hollywood. Sort of like I don't give a rip about Shakespeare in the Park and laying out a blanket and laying out my champagne caviar. Osef had a 30-year documentary filmmaker turned Democratic politician. Samuel L. Jackson. What's this other actor's name? John Leguizamo? Who's that guy? Alyssa Milano. You know, she literally personally drove voters to the polls in Georgia. This is hilarious. And then they had the Hollywood meltdown last night after Osef lost. I thought this was hilarious. Breitbart, Alyssa Milano tweeted out, "Group hug, get in, group hug." What, a virtual group? What is a virtual group hug? Deborah Messing, this is so hard to process. Joy. What kind of message is that?
The conservative underground meets later today on the Sean Hannity Show.
There's a common assumption about identity theft. A lot of people believe it's just credit card fraud, but credit card fraud isn't the only form of identity theft. And if you're just protecting your identity by monitoring your credit and checking your bank statements, well, you could miss some forms of identity theft. Like, for example, your information being for sale on the dark web. That means somebody getting an online payday loan in your name, or even someone draining your 401k. Now, thank God there's LifeLock. Now, they use proprietary technology to detect and alert you to a wide range of identity threats. You have a problem, one of their U.S.-based restoration specialists will work to fix it. Now, we can't prevent all identity theft, monitor every transaction, but with LifeLock.com, you can see more than you'd see by just monitoring your credit. Join now. You get a 10% discount just by visiting LifeLock.com/Hannity, or just call 1-800-LifeLock. Use the promo code Hannity. LifeLock.com/Hannity and say...
And welcome back. Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to defy, dare to live your life, the mission statement of the CW55. We'll be back on the radio in a few minutes. Right now it's me and you, the TV viewer. Also Ariel, video producer of the program, already doing outstanding work, getting us Martha Washington visuals. Also want to say good morning to the small, teeny tiny number of people watching on Facebook. Good morning to Nita Jeffers of Bay Minette. Nita, votenappies.com. We only have a couple of days left to vote in the Nappy Awards. Please, please, early morning viewer, vote for me in the category of Best Mobilian Ever. I'm up against Eugene Walter, who's passed away, Joe Kane, who's passed away, and the Peanut Man, who's passed away. So they don't need to win. They won't know if they win anyway. So it doesn't matter to them. They can't benefit from winning. And then I'm also against two living people, Hank Aaron and Jimmy Buffett. Now they don't have to live here. They've been so good at being a Mobilian, they've been able to leave and compete in some other town's Nappy Awards. So I'm the only one in the category that can benefit. So please just have some form of sympathy, empathy, pity, whatever emotion, and give me a vote, because I'm the only one that can benefit from it. VoteNappies.com. Now, good morning to Angelo. Good morning, Angelo. Also, good morning to James Eubanks. Good morning, Tammy Cook, the noted photographer of the Sims Fairview Wilmer region of Mobile County. Good morning to you all that are watching on Facebook. Now, before we go back to radio, and also Tuskers. Thank you, Tuskers. Thank you, Tuskers. Now, let me talk to Ariel. I haven't been able to talk to Ariel because I have been, every day this week, I've been late to work. I've been late to work every day. I do have a good reason that I will reveal later, but I do have a good reason. So, Ariel, last night your pole fitness class was canceled.
Right, it was.
So what did that mean for you?
That meant a whole lot of just kind of binge watching Grey's Anatomy on Netflix.
Grey's Anatomy?
Yeah, I kind of got caught up in it like a couple weeks ago, so I've been watching Grey's Anatomy ever since.
That show was on. I remember seeing that show 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's still on.
Yeah, it's in season 13.
Now, is Grey still on there?
Grey is still on there. In fact, her and one other cast, no, I think it's 4 of them that are from the original cast. So in the last couple years, most of the original cast has left. It's about 4
Well,
of them
they've got
left.
lives to lead.
Well, obviously.
In 10 years, that's a long time to be on the hospital show.
True.
This is my main criticism. Yes, I have a criticism of Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, do you now? Who would have thunk?
Even though I don't really know anything about television, as obvious by this show.
Mm-hmm.
Ariel, through the course of the show, when people decide they want to leave the show,
right,
they don't write it in the story where they go and get a better job.
They did once.
Most of the time, they are in a horrible accident.
And they die.
Yeah. Yes. Now, why do they have to do that?
Yes. In fact, some of the people that have left, 2 of them, I remember them just riding off, and the other 2, I remember them killing off. Very dramatic.
I don't, that's not usually the way it works in reality.
No, not. In fact, half of that show, none of that stuff works in reality. Like the lead character, Grey, this woman has survived more plane crashes, somebody trying to shoot her, baby just being born in the middle of a hurricane. Like, it is so dramatic, it's almost annoying.
There was a, the reason I know about this is because sometime in the last 10 years, there was a lot of publicity about a character that they killed off that was so popular, they brought him back as a ghost.
Oh,
which was
yeah,
very
which was
annoying.
very weird. In fact, you know what? At the time, I had been actually watching that show, and when they brought the ghost back, I was like, "That's enough. That will
Thank
be enough."
You. So Ariel will be she's a writer.
Yes.
She has a degree in writing, and she will be famous as a writer.
Eventually, yeah.
Will you ever write ghosts into your stories?
No. No ghosts, no nastiness with ghosts, because that's weird. Like,
yes,
what are you doing?
Is. Yes, it is. All right, I'm glad we've come to an agreement there.
Right.
That there should not be ghosts in these programs. All right, thank you, Ariel. We'll be checking in with her again. as we move forward. And I apologize to you, the viewer, that we talked about and offered an analysis of that show. I know you've probably wondered what's the point of even ever tuning in. I just had to get that off my chest. All right, we're about to go back on radio and try to address real news items. And I'll find some as I can. Locally, it's just been impact from rain, which we may get some more today, still under a flash flood watch. All right, stand by. We're about to go back to radio.
Traffic updates every 10 minutes on the 9s every morning. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. And we'll keep you updated, you the radio listener, on all the traffic and weather. We do that every 10 minutes. We don't have the rain now. It may be coming in a bit later from, I think, from west to east. I'll have to take a look at the radar and figure that out for you. Coming up in about 15 minutes, Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio, an early call from Joe Gomez, and we're going to talk to him about how the Republicans in Congress are going to likely reveal their health care plan today. And I wish them the best. I'd like to be excited about something improving in the country with health care. The optimism is hard to get generated. The reason I say that is because people have complained bitterly about the healthcare situation in the country even before President Obama worked on his plan. And then after the President Obama plan went into effect, there was more bitter complaint and continued bitter complaint. And as the years have gone by, the Republican Party has had plenty of time to figure. They have had years, literally, to work on something that would be really good. And you get the feeling that they have not done that. They've had a long time to come up with something. So they should have had it ready, right? They should have had it ready quite some time ago. So it's hard to be optimistic about what we might find out. But we'll find out. We'll be with Joe Gomez here in about 15 minutes. All right, let's see. We have Bruce. Hello, Bruce.
Hey, good morning, Uncle Henry. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, roll.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about North Korea.
Okay.
And, China's recent stand. You know, they had the Trump administration had demanded that China do something about North Korea, and they came out and just flat out said there's nothing else they can do. From what I see, status quo, the only thing left for the U.S. to do is start arming South Korea, Japan, and Guam with nuclear weapons. Short range, medium range, and maybe even ICBMs.
Well, and yeah, now you and I would think that logically, but remember, the South Koreans, they got mad when we gave them missile defense systems. We were giving them missile defense to defend themselves, and they got mad at us and wanted us to get rid of them. So we try to apply our logic to it, and there's obviously there's something we're not getting, because it doesn't make sense, does it, that South Korea doesn't want help in defending themselves? Hey, Bruce, I've got to run, but thank you for your phone call.
Time saver traffic from the Dean McCrary Volkswagen Traffic Center.
One of the areas experiencing high water this morning is the causeway right at the interchange with the I-10 at Mid-Bay. There is a lot of water that's covering the roadway. Now, there are a lot of vehicles that do seem to be chancing it and getting through, but you may want to consider an alternate route as it's getting very treacherous through that stretch. Again, causeway with a lot of water, primarily in that dip area right around the I-10 interchange. No big accidents on the board at this early stage. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation. Join the T.J. Martell Foundation in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn more.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
More thunder expected on this Thursday, and we also have a tornado watch for our entire viewing area until 1 p.m. An 80% chance of rainstorms, a high today of 84, a muggy night in the 70s, less rain for your TGIF. Friday will bring a 40% chance of showers. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
News? Check. Traffic and weather? Check. Opinions? Check. This is the Uncle Henry Show, only on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry, Uncle Henry, toodaloo, toodaloo, Uncle Henry, Uncle Henry, toodaloo, toodaloo.
Message deleted.
Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll talk to Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio, about the Republicans' Obamacare plan that is expected to be revealed today, that in my opinion should have been written and revealed maybe years ago. Now, Bruce, the caller Bruce that was on with me a moment ago, just one more thing, Bruce, on North Korea, South Korea. As I pointed out, you were talking about how we ought to be arming all these countries around North Korea. And I mentioned to you how South Korea got mad at us. We gave them missile defense. I'm sure that's pretty expensive. I haven't looked it up on Amazon, but I'm sure that missile defense is very expensive. And they got mad and wanted it removed. I don't know about you, Bruce, but I'd be glad to have missile defense in my backyard right now. Even there's probably not a missile aimed at my neighborhood, probably not. But just in case, I would voluntarily take one if the government would like to put a big missile defense thing in my backyard. I don't know if I have room, but I would, if it has to take up the whole backyard, I'd be glad. I'd enjoy that, knowing that if there was a missile coming, that I would have missile defense. So I don't understand. And yeah, you'd think China could make North Korea do whatever they wanted. And I don't understand, and there may be some kind of internal politics involved. I don't know what kind of cultural ties the different people of China and North Korea might share, if there may be some kind of internal politics going on there, where there's some kind of relationship on a personal level between peoples of both countries. I do not know. But Bruce, thank you for your trying to bring logic into a situation that's hard for us to understand in the West. Now, earlier I mentioned a story about a lady in Texas that underwent 8 surgeries this week to look like Melania Trump. And the reason is, I think, to get famous, and she's going to be on TV. She'll be on the Inside Edition show. There's another story like that that's linked on the Drudge Report about a man. There's a Hispanic YouTube star in the American West who changed his name legally to Trump. He's Ernesto Trump, and he did it for career purposes. He didn't get an operation to look like a Trump, but he did change his last name to Trump. It cost him, I think, under $300. Ernesto Trump, by the way, he has so many tattoos that's what when you see him, that's what you think about. And for the radio listener, Ariel found a picture of him to show our TV viewers that's kind of outdated because he has hair in that picture. Currently, I think he's shaved his head, so his tattoos are even more strikingly visible. This kind of ties into stuff that Rush Limbaugh's been talking about lately, and that is that the media doesn't let on, but the president, there are a lot of people in the country that really find the president quite popular. All right, when we come back, we'll talk about that health care bill with Joe Gomez.
While they were watching,
Obama spying on Americans.
You were listening. Keep on listening.
It's so sick.
Sean Hannity, 2 till 5. News Radio 710, WNTM.
Hey, this is Uncle Henry. I want to tell you about a dentist I found in Mobile named H. Radcliffe Brown Jr. When I moved back to town, I asked people if they could recommend a dentist, and they recommended Radcliffe Brown. I had a cracked tooth. I needed a crown on it. I went to see Dr. Brown at his office, 1501 University Boulevard, and he had just remodeled with state-of-the-art technology. So he was able to make the crown for me while I waited. It was a same-day crown, no temporary crown, and it fit perfectly. Dr. Brown has a family-friendly practice. He offers a wide range of services, including cleanings, whitening, cosmetic bonding, the same-day crowns I just told you about, veneers, bridges, dentures, partials. He restores implants. If you're a new patient, you can get a new patient appointment within just a few days. Remember the name. It's H. Radcliffe Brown Jr. Call him at 251-342-5636. While his website is under construction, you can look for him on Facebook. Look for H. Radcliffe Brown Jr. Dentist on Facebook.
If you run a nonprofit or social enterprise, your passion probably isn't accounting, human resources, operations, or benefits management, but ours is. At Mission Edge, we provide affordable back office services so you can focus on your mission. Since 2012, we provided nonprofits and social businesses with experts in accounting and finance, HR and people management. In addition, we offer startup support and fiscal sponsorship services, a social enterprise accelerator, skilled volunteers, and other programs to help you scale your impact. Contact us today at missionedge.org.
This is Uncle Henry. I'm here with John McNeil of McNeil Aaron's Lambert Financial Group. John, isn't buying term life insurance like renting your insurance?
Uncle Henry, it can be. For example, let's say you're a 45-year-old and need $1 million of 20-year term. You would pay a guaranteed level premium of $73 a month every month for 20 years. At the end of that time, you will have paid.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to defy, dare to live your life, the mission statement of the CW55. We're in a radio break. Radio listeners hearing traffic, weather, all that kind of stuff. We'll get back to radio in just a few minutes. Right now, it's me and you and Ariel. Now, you, the TV viewer, you don't get to hear our traffic reports most of the time. But I want to, because we've had the weather that we've had, I would like to share with you, the TV viewer, just a quick listen to our traffic report. So here it is, very briefly.
As another rain band rapidly moves in from the west, we are still seeing an awful lot of high water through the area. If you're making the drive across the causeway this morning, the waves are crashing and water is encroaching on that outside lane. So the causeway is open to traffic, but it is not exactly an ideal drive this morning. Extra time and extra vigilance will be the order of the morning there. Flooded roadways remain on Dolphin Island, particularly on the west end of the island, and a tree down at Havenwood and Howells Ferry. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
How about that? So waves are crashing. Our traffic guy, we ought to trade places, really. He could do an outstanding show for you, and I could just tell people about wrecks. What an outstanding, so waves are crashing, water encroaching. Causeway's open, but their waves are crashing and the water is encroaching, and he says you need vigilance. He used the word vigilance in his high vocabulary traffic report. I also saw on one of the local TV stations, let me see if I can find the story, about people at the beaches that of course, most people unable to enjoy their vacations at the beaches due to the tropical weather. One of the local TV stations went out and interviewed a family that came here all the way from Arkansas for summer vacation, the whole family in a condo. And this lady was interviewed and said that they had 9 kids in one condo. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? That sounds like a rough vacation. All right, I see Joe Gomez. He is calling in, and we're about to go on radio here in less than 30 seconds with Joe Gomez to talk about that Republican health care bill and all of that. Again, a reminder that you can find us on not just News Radio 710 WNTM and 99.5 FM The Jag, but you, the TV viewer, can also find the show on YouTube and on Facebook on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page. All the previous shows are there. All right, stand by. We go to Joe Gomez next. Thank you for listening to The Uncle Henry Show or watching it. I want to welcome back to The Uncle Henry Show, NBC News Radio's Joe Gomez. Joe, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
All right, Joe, I'm curious about this health care plan. The Republicans have had literally years to come up with something. So what have they had to do behind closed doors to get this thing ready?
Well, I mean, it sounds like there was a working group of 13 senators that would oftentimes work in private to develop this new health care bill that's going to be unveiled in about 3 hours by Senate Republicans. And I guess a working version of it has already been released, and it shows that it's going to be reducing Obamacare's Medicaid expansion more gradually than the House bill does. It's also going to protect people with pre-existing conditions and prevent insurers from charging sick people higher premiums than healthy people. That's something that President Trump has been pushing for. He said he wants to put pre-existing conditions protections into the new health care bill, but it may be something that's going to have difficulty to pass in the House. So, I mean, we'll get more details as they finally release this first draft, but it sounds like this healthcare battle is far from over.
Well, Joe Gomez, as I mentioned to you with my first loaded question, for people with my average level of intelligence, it's hard to understand why they haven't figured out something that could pass after years. They've literally had years and years and years to figure out something. So it's hard to understand why we're still at a point where they can't find something that can get enough votes.
No, I mean, you've got a pretty good point. I mean, you figure at this juncture that they've had enough time that they know more or less what their constituents want, that
Right.
they can tell the pulse of the people. But it seems like, you know, it keeps changing because of different demands. Maybe the far right wing of the Republican Party gets more power in terms of membership in the House Freedom Caucus instead of the Tuesday group, which is the more moderate wing. And so it's this constant battle over who has more pull in the House, and then Democrats are staying out of it. You know, the president actually, made an interesting point yesterday when he had a rally in Iowa. He said that, if Democrats actually voted for this bill, because he said Obamacare is dead, if Democrats actually came to the table, negotiated, wanted to vote for this bill, he would have more power in altering it, and then you wouldn't have to be overly reliant on Republican votes.
That is a good point. Well, I'm like probably everyone else, anxious to see how it all goes and whether it does go or if it's dead on arrival. One more thing to ask you about, Joe Gomez, the tapes that people have wondered about now for quite some time. President Trump, that infamous tweet about hoping that James Comey should hope that there are no tapes. Are we going to actually get final word on that?
Well, we should be by this week. So the House Intelligence Committee sent a letter to the counsel for the White House requesting that there be some kind of evidence provided over as to whether or not there are tapes that exist of recordings of President Trump and former FBI Director James Comey. The deadline for that is by tomorrow. So we could have learned by today or by tomorrow if the White House has tapes. If they don't meet that deadline, then there could be a subpoena issued to find out.
All right, one more thing. I know you've got a lot to do this morning, Joe Gomez, but let's think back through the week. Has there been a leak this week?
Well,
I don't know that there's been. This may have been the first stretch of days that I haven't asked you about a leak.
I mean, there's always leaks, but I mean, like there hasn't been like a major, intelligence leak.
How about that? All right, well, then I guess that's also coming up soon, so we can put that on the calendar.
The week isn't over yet, Henry. The week is not done yet.
You're right. Well, Joe
Who knows
Gomez,
what could happen.
thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Okay, thanks.
There he goes, Joe Gomez, NBC News Radio. I kept thinking, what's different about our conversation? Oh, yeah, no leak. I'm sure there will be one. Maybe one is coming out now, and I just haven't found it. All right, well, it's as I mentioned earlier. It's I don't know how excited anybody should be about some health care plan that should have been written years ago, and they still are trying to figure out a way to find something that can pass both houses of Congress. All right, we are almost up to the end of the hour. So the radio listener, you are going to get news, traffic, weather, all of that. And TV viewer, we're only going to be off television for just a couple of minutes and then come right back with more. Let me let you know that later today, after we're off TV in the 7 o'clock hour, we are scheduled to have more Distinguished Young Women of America. This is the time of year that in Mobile, Alabama, we have the Distinguished Young Women of America competition, where we have representatives from all of the states of the Union coming to Mobile to show how distinguished they are, to compete for scholarships. And we had a wonderful interview a couple of days ago. It was Tuesday with one of the, I think it was the Nebraska distinguished young woman is going to the University of Alabama. Roll Tide, roll! So that it'll be hard to top that. But we will have those young ladies in at 7 o'clock this morning to provide some optimism and some. I'm sure it's just positive to meet young people that are on a good course in their life. So we'll have that in the 7 o'clock hour for the radio listener or the Facebook viewer. And certainly if you need something positive to hear, that will be available to you. All right, here we are. We're up on the break. When we come back, more news as we can find it here on the Uncle Henry Show on the CW55 News Radio 710 WNTM and 99.5 FM The Jag. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
Say thank you. Why? Because you've made us the #1 rated music app in America. iHeartRadio is the only app with live radio, artist stations, and unlimited access to the hottest tracks for you to save right to your phone. We took everything you love about live radio, then added all the features a music fan needs. So if you haven't downloaded the app yet, come see what you're missing. Download the free iHeartRadio app or listen at iHeartRadio.com.
The Results Companies, one of the world's largest customer experience providers, is looking to hire over 400 employees at the Mobile site this June. Positions include customer service reps, bilingual customer service reps, sales, supervisor, management, and leadership. You must be comfortable speaking on the phone, being understanding, and most of all, being efficient. On the sales side, Result is looking for persistent, personable, and outgoing individuals. If you're a hardworking individual that loves the customer service and sales industries, please visit theresultscompanies.com to learn more.
It's Bess from Lazy Boy. What are we talking about this time?
George Washington.
Okay, is that because it's the 4th of July and it's 3 cheers for the red, white, and blue?
Sort of.
Or a 4th of July celebration, and Lazy Boy's going to save our listeners a lot of George Washington.
Well, it's that too.
Okay, we give. What is it?
Just think about this, what our forefathers did for us. They fought in a war with no paycheck, had to supply their own ammunition, and if they had lost, they would have been executed by the opposing side, just so we could be here today.
So, 3 cheers for the red, white, and blue.
You better believe it. 3 cheers for the red, white, and blue in the greatest country the world has ever known. Hip, hip, hooray!
But wait, what does that have to do with decorating and redesigning a room?
Everything.
I knew you were going to say that. You always say that, Bess.
Okay, so here's the deal. Does your living room stand up and shout hip, hip, hooray, or is it a room that doesn't even know it lives in the greatest country in the world?
And if it doesn't know, you can do something about that.
We sure can do in our 4th of July celebration.
Hip, hip, hooray!
Your home for traffic and weather on the 9s every morning. News Radio 710 WNTM, Mobile. An iHeart radio station, 99.9 WMXC HD3 Mobile. 710.
Here we are. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to defy, dare to live your life. The mission statement of the CW55. We're in a radio break. The radio listeners hearing traffic and weather and news, both local and national. We're watching the weather. Now, the commute this morning, better than it was yesterday, although I'm looking at the radar, we still have some activity, some rain, not as much as yesterday, but still some rain for Mobile and Baldwin. And it looks like rain is moving in from west to east. So it looks like we will get some, but we don't have it now. So it's a better commute. Ordinarily, I don't play you, the TV viewer, our traffic reports, but because of the weather situation with all of the Tropical Storm Cindy impact, I would like to share with you our wonderful traffic man, Mr. Romero. Here briefly is the freshest and latest report from Mr. Romero.
We picked up an accident with injury in Pensacola. This is Rockwood Road at North Davis Highway, tree in the roadway at Havenwood and House Ferry. Also, there's a lot of standing water and street flooding which remains. We're certainly keeping an eye on the causeway this morning. It is open to traffic, but you do have water encroaching on that outside lane, particularly right around that I-10 interchange in Mid-Bay. And if that weren't enough, there's a new band of heavy rain rapidly closing in from the west. I'm Ray Romero.
There he is. So you heard water encroaching, causeway open, but water encroaching. So that's the situation with more rain on the way. We're going to be back on radio in just a few minutes. Let's talk to Ariel, video producer of the program, it's been a very busy week for her, running around, getting all of the latest news updates and weather updates and all that. So Ariel's got a 2-year-old. Now, Ariel, You've got the 2-year-old son.
Correct.
And you've heard me mention the story that a family came to the beaches from Arkansas, and they've had to stay in the condo with 9 kids.
That sounds like a nightmare.
So I was wondering, you've got the one child that when you brought him in earlier this week, he left your work area looking almost completely destroyed.
Exactly, which is exactly what his bedroom looks like right now.
Okay. So 9 kids in a condo.
Listen, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, because at this point I know if my 2-year-old is restless, their 9 kids are restless. And 9 kids very restless with nothing to do, that is asking for trouble.
Yes, it is. And you probably, if you're coming all the way from Arkansas to go to the beach, you probably think that all your fun is going to be on the beach. So you probably don't prepare to have hours of fun indoors.
Absolutely.
So the children are, I guess, taking the furniture apart, doing whatever, turning every object into a toy, lamps.
Doing the best that they can with what little they have.
Right.
Poor things.
Yes. So 9 kids in one condo. Now you're one of 5 kids, and you go to the beaches. Have you ever got into a situation where you and your sisters had to be trapped in the condo?
Nope. You want to know why? Because we're from this area, so we know hurricane coming. Just don't worry about it. Yeah.
You know better.
Yeah, we know better.
Okay.
We know better. We've never had to be trapped in a condo before, but We had during Hurricane Katrina when we got trapped in the house and there was no air conditioner and the roads was like we still had that curfew. That was a nightmare. Because at that point, it was like the arguments never stopped. And then we started arguing over stuff that wasn't even worth arguing about. Like whether or not you should eat off the paper plate or a regular glass plate. That was a real argument, by the way.
Now, with 5 sisters, was there a lot of arguing growing up?
Kind of. But my dad was kind of one of those kind of dads that did not take that kind of stuff. So if he heard us arguing, he'd walk in the room and go, "Hey!
Okay.
You don't yell at people!" While he was yelling at us.
That's good.
No, it isn't. Like, what do you, really, come on. How do you yell at somebody to tell them don't yell at somebody else?
Well, look, I knew a family, and we're about to go back on radio here in about 20 seconds, but I knew a family. It was a mom and 2 daughters. And if you're watching, it's not you. I'm talking about somebody that I knew back in the 80s.
Okay.
Because these people may think I'm talking about them, but it was in the 80s. And anytime all 3 of those women were in a room together, one of them would cry. Every time.
No.
Every time something
no.
would happen and one of them would cry. So they were, maybe they needed some yelling in their house. All right, stand by. Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM, 99.5 FM, The Jag. It is a better commute for now compared to yesterday with all the impacts from Tropical Storm Cindy. As it stands now, we're not getting a tremendous amount of rain in Mobile or Baldwin or Pensacola, but we have some rain moving in Mississippi into Alabama sometime soon. So keep in mind that we're going to get more water. We're going to get, right now though, much better drive, although our traffic guy is keeping us up to date on how, yes, the rain stopped for a while, but we still have a lot of water that has had trouble finding somewhere to go. So still, you need to be, as the traffic guy would say, vigilant. And we'll have more traffic. We have traffic for the radio listener every 10 minutes on the 9s, and we'll get that to you in just a moment. We'll continue to watch the impact of all the tropical weather and also look at other news as we go forward. I did see on the national level, on the Bill Cosby trial, they've released the names of the jury. Now, the lawyers did not, on both sides, the lawyers asked the judge not to do it. But news organizations went forward and asked for it, saying it was important for transparency of government. And so the names of the jury have been released. And now we know that it was 2 jurors that held out and would not convict Bill Cosby. I'm not as concerned about his trial at all anymore, but I am wondering about the overall question of should jurors be named? Now, what if it's in a case like, yeah, we all want transparency of government, but if you're sending, let's say it's not a Cosby, but it's some major criminal that may be involved with some kind of organized crime, isn't that unsafe to reveal jurors? Couldn't they face repercussions if they find somebody guilty and they have a criminal organization? Or maybe it's just family and friends of the accused and convicted. I've never thought about this before, but I don't know that I like the idea of releasing juror. I would not want to be publicized as a juror. It would make people less willing to participate. We need people that are willing to be on juries. And I think it would make people less willing to be on a jury. Ariel, would you want to be revealed as a juror? I don't know. No. Hey, if I'm going to serve, let me be able to go back to my life without worrying if the convicted's brother is waiting in the bushes. All right, there's more to come. Uncle Henry Show.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
Tropical Storm Cindy made landfall several hours ago, but she is clearly not done with our region as of yet. There is a lot of heavy rain rapidly pushing in from points west, and what we already have are flooded roadways throughout the region. Watching the causeway in particular this morning as the waves are crashing and water is encroaching on that outside lane, but the bridge is fully open across the bay. Trees down in the roadway, including Knollwood at Vista Bonita and Havenwood and Howes Ferry. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation. Join the T.J. Martell Foundation in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn more.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Southern Cancer Center. Weather Center.
More thunder expected on this Thursday, and we also have a tornado watch for our entire viewing area until 1 p.m. An 80% chance of rainstorms, a high today of 84, a muggy night in the 70s, less rain for your TGIF. Friday will bring a 40% chance of showers. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
This report is brought to you by Unbound. A more peaceful, healthy world happens one person at a time. Around the globe, there are children who dream of helping their families, who hope for the future, and who have a name. Know the person you're helping directly at unbound.org.
We love Nick Saban. Just wanted to get that out of the way. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry, this is Bert. I don't know whether my phone dropped the call, which is highly probable because my phone's got it in for me, or whether you hung up on me. I did not get to finish making my remarks. I guess I'll pick that up tomorrow.
Message deleted.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Keeping you updated with traffic and weather every 10 minutes on the 9s, as we're expecting more rain. Mentioned earlier that there's one local TV station found a family that came here from Arkansas to vacation at the beaches, and they've had to stay in their condo with 9 children during the tropical weather, which does sound. I don't know that I'm made of. I don't think I could handle it. I admire those that have the backbone for that. Do you think? What are the odds that there are a lot of fidget spinners in there? Ariel, do you think fidget spinners help in that situation? All right. Well, anyway, 9. At least they're safe in there, and we've had terrible stories where some people have not been safe there. All right. As I've been talking, the President of the United States just tweeted. He just tweeted less than a minute ago. In the tweet of the first tweet of President Trump of the day that I present to you now here on News Radio 710 WNTM and 99.5 FM The Jag and on the CW55, the first tweet of the day is a brief one. It's great night in Iowa. Special people. Thank you. I know that people like to go to these rallies. They enjoy the off-the-cuff remarks of the president when he goes to the rallies. He's been here twice in the city I'm in, and also along the Gulf Coast several times. I wonder if the crowds would stay big if he kept coming back. I wonder if communities actually like it, because there are associated costs. And in Mobile, there was the big controversy where somebody went and cut down a tree to provide a Christmas tree. I wonder if there are communities out there that wish he would come just to stimulate something in the community. Probably some small towns around here would love to have a rally if they could get one. But a big rally in Iowa, and the president does so well at these occasions, if I were him, I'd go out every couple of weeks at least to get the message out as it gets harder and harder to break through with the message, whatever the message might be. All right, look, we're going to be right back. Many other things to get into on the show. And for the radio listener, traffic and weather together coming up. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
If you're looking for a chiropractor, check out my chiropractor, Dr. Call, at Mobile Chiropractic Associates. You can call them at 251-341-1211. Online, chiroassociates.com.
With Quicken Loans, our simple process helps you understand all the details so you can be confident that you're getting the right mortgage. Call 800-QUICKEN or go completely online with Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.23%. Call 800-QUICKEN or get started online at rocketmortgage.com. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
I'm Uncle Henry, a customer of Heads Heating and Air Conditioning. I've used them for maintenance and for when my old system went out on me. Last year, I asked them to turn to the experts, Carrier, and replace my old natural gas furnace with a Carrier 95% high-efficiency unit. And so I had a cozy, warm home last winter with lower heating bills, and I'm looking forward to a cool home this summer with that new system. Carrier, high-efficiency natural gas, and Heads Heating and Air Conditioning make a great team. Did you know they've got financing available at 0% interest for up to 60 months? You can't beat 0% on a new system. What a great combo. Carrier, natural gas, Heads Heating and Air Conditioning, and financing at 0% interest for up to 60 months. So turn to the experts, Carrier, and call Heads Heating and Air Conditioning. The number is 251-653-7873. 251-653-7873. See if you qualify for that great deal on 0% interest.
It's Heating and Air Conditioning, where 3 heads are better than 1.
The key to success? Keep it simple, especially when it comes to hiring. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions. Manage your candidates from one dashboard. According to an independent study, 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. New users claim your $50 credit to post a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's...
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55, Dare to Defy, Dare to Live Your Life, the mission statement of the CW55. We're in a radio break. The radio listener is hearing traffic and weather and all that kind of stuff. Words from our sponsors. Will be back on the radio in just a few minutes. Right now it's me and you and Ariel. Before we go any further, one more time I want to play for you our traffic man. You normally don't hear the traffic man, you the TV viewer, but on a day like today, I'm enjoying his reports more than ever before. His vocabulary is outstanding. Let's listen briefly to the traffic report.
Tropical Storm Cindy made landfall several hours ago, but she is clearly not done with our region as of yet. There's a lot of heavy rain rapidly pushing in from points west, and what we already have are flooded roadways throughout the region. Watching the causeway in particular this morning as the waves are crashing and water is encroaching on that outside lane, but the bridge is fully open across the bay. Trees down in the roadway, including Knollwood at Vista Bonita and Havenwood and Howes Ferry. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
Very good. Once again, waves crashing, water encroaching on the causeway. But the causeway's open, even though there are crashing waves and encroaching water. So we'll keep you up to date as much as we can here. The commute now better than it was yesterday, but as you just heard him say, we do have more rain moving in, this time from west to east. Let's see, what else to tell you about? Oh, a reminder. We only have a few days left of voting in the Nappy Awards. VoteNappies.com is the website. Please vote for me in any category you find me in. All the other nominees, they're doing pretty good. All the other nominees are doing pretty good. I'm the only one nominated that really could use the help. Could use the help. You'd be doing a charitable thing just by voting repeatedly over and over again for me in the Nappies at votenappies.com. Now, I am nominated in one category that I don't want to win, and that's the naked. There's some type of naked category. You don't even have to vote in that category. You can abstain in that. But anything else, please vote for me because I'm the only one. All the other nominees are doing fine. All right, stand by. We're about to go back to radio.
Unplugged on iHeartRadio.
This morning at 9, Ask the Expert. Then Rush at 11. Right now, it's Uncle Henry on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Good morning, radio listener. Uncle Henry Show continues. Continue to keep you updated as we move forward on all the weather-related issues as we're getting more rain moving in. And also all the different news items that are popping up from around the country. Ariel, join me here. I want to ask you about this because this is not a big deal. But I'm interested in names are important. And there's a guy in Texas that's getting some national news coverage. He's a YouTube star.
Right.
A Hispanic guy. He says his parents came into the country illegally, and he's got a lot of people that watch his videos on YouTube. Mm-hmm. He's changed his name legally to Ernesto Trump. He wants the last name Trump for professional career purposes, thinking that if he calls himself Trump, then that will help his career. Now, I don't know if it's certainly getting him noticed.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about him. I never would have heard of him.
I had no idea who he was before.
Right. And we
probably won't care after today.
Exactly. We won't follow him. There's no really a reason for us to continue to follow him, but who knows? Maybe he'll pick up a few extra followers and something will happen for him. But I'm bringing it up because the whole psychology, a name is so, to me, that's a big deal, your name.
It is, yeah.
Have you ever, I've never thought about changing my name. Have you ever thought about it?
I haven't thought about changing my name. I've thought of changing my son's name.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of his name. I've thought of changing that. But mine? No. Definitely not.
Okay. Well, if you're going to change his name, it's
too much work, and I just won't do it.
I was about to say it needs to happen soon.
Yeah. Well, for one, I don't know if he knows his name or if he just likes to ignore me on purpose. Not really sure.
Okay. All right.
Jury's still out on that one.
Okay.
But yeah, that's way too much work. Nobody has time for that because then you have to tell family his new name. Then you have to go through all these court systems. It's like nobody has time for all of that.
Yeah. This it cost him. If I read the story correctly, it was under $300.
See?
To change his name.
See, that's a problem right there.
You think it should cost more?
No. I don't think it should cost that out. If I've decided that I'm just going to change my name, I should be able to just go down there and say, this is what I'm going to do. And then they go, oh, okay, sign right here, and initial here, and the process is over.
Well, governments enjoy charging us fees.
Clearly.
On a variety of things. But yeah. The just that whole idea of changing the name for professional purposes, it seems like too big a deal to do unless it's a really odd last name.
Right. Or unless, it's going to really, 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 like you have a really goofy name and you want to be taken serious as a journalist, or you could just change your name to Whoopi Goldberg. That always works.
Now we have that did work. Now we have the man in the, I guess he's the state treasurer in Alabama, and his name is Young Boozer.
See, that is the name right there that you changed because.
Well, it's worked for him.
It may have worked now, but think about if he ever showed up to a frat party
I'm
when
sure.
He was
Well, I'm
frat
sure he
party
did.
age.
I'm sure he did.
Yes, and he told somebody, "Hey, by the way, my name is Young Boozer." Nobody's gonna believe you.
Well, I don't know. That's a guy that if he wanted to have a drink, probably never had to buy his own drink when he was in college.
Why would you? If your name is Young Boozer, people want to buy you a drink because it's like, are you serious right now?
Right.
You got to be kidding me. That's made up. And then you see his driver's license and see it's legit. Now you want to buy him a drink.
Okay.
That's bar logic.
I want to know more about bar logic. We're going to have a discussion on that later.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Ariel. So Ernesto Trump, he wants more. He wants you, the citizen of the United States, to find him on YouTube. Ernesto Trump. I'm afraid to. In fact, I didn't have time to preview his YouTube channel. That's why I'm not playing you any audio of Ernesto Trump, because there's no telling. He's covered in tattoos. No offense to the tattooed people of our nation, but I don't know what kind of language he might use as far as foul language. So Ernesto Trump. Now in Alabama, from that logic, if I follow the logic, not the bar logic, but the Ernesto Trump logic, he wants to promote his career, so he's changed his name to Ernesto Trump. Would my career take off finally in Alabama if I changed my name from Uncle Henry to Uncle Saban? If I brought the name Saban and if I went and paid the money and changed my name to Saban, would that help? Now, I'd get publicity, just like Ernesto. I'd get publicity within the state. Would it take me to the next level, which has eluded me for numerous decades? That's something I will ponder. That's what I'm going to gain from the Ernesto Trump story. All right, we have many far more important things to get to, and we will on the Uncle Henry Show, including, I think we're going to hear in just a few hours, details on the Republican health care plan and many other things to get to, along with following all of the different weather conditions, which are going to worsen for us in Mobile County soon, as we have more weather moving in, this time from west to east. Stick with us for updates here on the Uncle Henry Show.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. NYMEX crude oil is up almost 0.5% this morning at $42.71 a barrel as Tropical Storm Cindy curbs energy production in the Gulf of Mexico. Yesterday, crude oil dropped to its lowest price in 10 months, with U.S. oil production increasing to the highest since August of 2015, according to the Energy Information Administration. Shares of Oracle are up 11% in pre-market trading. The company's push into cloud computing is picking up momentum, sparking a fourth straight quarter of revenue gains for the software maker. Oracle, which set a record closing high yesterday for its shares, reported total sales that easily topped analyst estimates. George Clooney may be the face of fancy coffee, but it's in premium tequila that he just hit the jackpot. Diageo agreed to pay as much as $1 billion for the fast-growing tequila brand Casamigos, co-founded 4 years ago by Clooney. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
If you've been waiting to buy a new RV, now is the time to go get one at RVs Unlimited. Here's Jeremy and Ed Strickler.
It is time for the 2018s already in the RV industry. They come out a little sooner than the cars do in the fall, so the 17s have to go. And we would love to find them a good home, and we are offering a 25% discount on all the remaining 17 models on the lot. So it's the best savings of the year right now.
And some as much as 40% off.
Yeah, and 25% is the starting point. We have some as much as 40% off.
So great deals on new RVs and on pre-owned RVs at RVs Unlimited in Robertsdale. Remember, they don't play games with you. There's no haggling at RVs Unlimited, and they don't tack on hidden dealer fees at the end of the transaction. These are people that make customer service a specialty. RVs Unlimited in Robertsdale. You'll find out more information online at rvsunlimited.com.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
High water on the causeway is becoming more and more of a concern. The entrance ramp to eastbound I-10 from the causeway has now been closed. They're also blocking the right lane on the causeway itself as more and more of this water continues to push up from the bay and crash over the roadway. So be aware of that. It's certainly not an ideal drive-in this morning. And that's just one problem that we're having. There are a lot of other downed trees and power lines to the area, and high water remains. I'm Ray Romero.
And welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to defy, dare to live your life. The mission statement of the CW55. In our final 2 weeks on the CW55, thank you to the CW55 for allowing us to be on for the last, it'll have been 10 months. It was a wonderful bit of practice. And looking forward to next week getting an additional week of practice. I will tell you that tomorrow we're going to do something we haven't done since December. And tomorrow in the 6 o'clock hour of the show, that would be this hour, we are going to have a group of local musicians coming in. There's a big charity event coming up and that involves local concerts. So we're going to have local musicians in tomorrow in the 6 o'clock hour to perform for you, the TV viewer. So look, this will involve B. Graves, the very talented local musician, B. Graves. And he said that he sent me an email asking if somebody could come in and play bongos. So that's all. You don't get a lot of that on local television. I'm sure it happens from time to time, but I never get to see it. So that's tomorrow here on the Uncle Henry Show on the CW55. And I'm sure that will confuse the radio listener when they tune in for news and there's somebody playing bongos. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Tonight on the CW55, 2 episodes of Supernatural. So if that's the kind of stuff you like, there's 2 hours of it tonight on the CW55. All right, let's see. We're going to be back on radio in just a few minutes. Ariel, please join me. We have other things to get into. I talked to Ariel in the last segment of the show about the act of changing one's name, like Ernesto Trump. I probably know the answer to this question,
okay.
or maybe I don't.
Okay.
You've heard me tell the story about the woman that was having 8 surgeries this week to look like Melania Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever wanted to make yourself look like somebody else specifically?
No. I didn't want to make myself look. Now, when we start talking about, whether or not I would like to look like them in clothing, yes. Facially,
Okay.
Can't break this, baby.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. This works. This works. But now, I like to have a flatter stomach, maybe more a Beyonce stomach. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we all probably would like to change something about our own appearance,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's a little unusual to want to look specifically like someone else.
I think it is too, but I would like my teeth to look like Gabrielle Union's.
Okay, Gabrielle Union's teeth, Beyonce's stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any other list?
I'm trying to think. Maybe Janet Jackson legs.
Janet Jackson legs.
Mm-hmm. That would be a thing. That would be a thing. And I think that's it. I think we could kind of draw the line there because everything else I can live with.
Okay, teeth, stomach, legs,
Mm-hmm.
and then everything else you can live with.
Everything else I can live with.
All right. Well, thank you, Ariel, for that. And the fact that you knew that off the top of your head, that's pretty good. I'm beyond all of that. I just want to be able to be. I just want to maintain the ability to be ambulatory. I want to maintain the ability to walk. So as long as I've got that going for me. But yes, a lady in Texas, 8 operations to allegedly look like Melania Trump. Now, these stories pop up from time to time where people get cosmetic surgery to allegedly look like a celebrity, and then when they show the pictures, they never look like the celebrity. At least to me, they never look like the celebrity. But I'm sure as technology improves, one day they'll perfect that. And won't that be weird? You'll go to the grocery store, if we still have grocery stores in the future, and you'll run into Marilyn Monroe, and you might go into cardiac arrest, but it won't really be Marilyn Monroe. It'll be somebody from down the street. All right, stand by. We're about to go back to radio on the Uncle Henry Show.
The number is 251-631-3570. That's Advanced Dermatology and Skincare Center.
Roll Tide. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. This is a day in a few hours. We're supposed to get details on a Republican plan for health care. And some of the details have been leaking out about it. I'm finding it difficult to get optimistic about all of this. We've had this situation now for years. People were upset about health care in this country before the Affordable Care Act, before Obamacare was instituted. People were worried about the cost going up and all the complaints we're all familiar with of dealing with insurance companies and also dealing with the medical industry and the difficulty of understanding whether or not you're getting a market price for your health care, all that kind of stuff. What's covered, what's not covered. And so people were upset then, and then we got the Affordable Care Act, and we got Obamacare, and people were still upset because they saw their insurance plans change, and a lot of people saw their insurance price skyrocket, go way up. We've just had years and years of being upset about the way the medical industry operates with insurance coverages and all of that. And so it's frustrating to somebody at my level of intelligence that the people who can do something about it haven't figured it out by now. They've had literally years to get together and meet over and over and over again to figure something out. And it's still, here we are, and they're still meeting yesterday trying to figure something out that'll pass Congress. And they keep telling us things like it can't all be done at once. It has to be done in stages, and we have part 1, part 2, and part 3. And if you're just, why can't it just be fixed after all these years? So whatever they announce today, I'm not going to hold my breath that anything is going to happen. In fact, I did have a congressman on this show months ago who promised that Obamacare would be repealed by Easter. Do you remember that? I'll have to see if I can find, I know I've got that audio somewhere in the system. So Easter, we've already had Easter. We're about to get to Independence Day. So I'm not going to hold my breath that anything is going to happen with health care. We have more to come. First, for the radio listener, traffic and weather together. We do it every 10 minutes on the 9s. Back on both TV and radio in 2 minutes.
Time saver traffic from the Dean McCrary Volvo Traffic Center.
Encroaching water has closed the entrance ramp to eastbound I-10 at the causeway on the Mid-Bay. Meantime, the right lane is also closed on the main part of the Causeway Bridge itself. Water also a problem at Lott and the Escatawpa River and Dauphin Island Parkway and Marina Drive. And in Pensacola, authorities still on the scene of a fatal accident involving a pedestrian that's occurred at Rockwood Road and North Davis Highway. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation. Join the T.J. Martell Foundation in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn more.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
More thunder expected on this Thursday, and we also have a tornado watch for our entire viewing area until 1 p.m. An 80% chance of rainstorms, a high today of 84, a muggy night in the 70s, less rain for your TGIF. Friday will bring a 40% chance of showers. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
This report is brought to you by Unbound.
Right now, there's a girl in India who has dreams bigger than her village. Right now, there's an elder in Guatemala who dreams of a life of greater dignity and less loneliness. You can help change the future of one person in a single moment. Begin the change at unbound.org.
Your home for traffic and weather on the 9s every morning. This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Psalm 147:5, the King James Version. Great is our Lord, and of great power. His understanding is infinite. The New International Version. Great is our Lord, and mighty in power. His understanding has no limit. Psalm 147:5.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. And we just was listening to the traffic report there in the break, hearing about one of the interstate ramps closed on the causeway due to the crashing waves and the inundation of water. So we do have that situation going on with the causeway. So be aware of that. With more rain moving in, we'll keep you up to date as we move forward here on the show. Now, let's see, coming up, we'll get into some other big news items. Here's something a little weird, though. Ariel, please join me for this, because we've in our country, United States of America, we've seen the fidget spinner situation, which is very unusual. I don't know, how many do you have in your house, Ariel?
None. Negative.
All right.
Zero. Zilch.
So that's the big craze in our country, the fidget spinner.
Correct.
Now, in China, they have something else that is sweeping China as a fad.
Which is?
These are crossbows that are teeny tiny,
Right.
that shoot toothpicks.
That is brilliant. I would buy that.
Well, they are
Fidget spinner? No.
They're selling in China like gangbusters.
I believe it.
And it's the equivalent of about $1.
Yeah.
And they were called toothpick crossbows, but they can also fire a needle or a nail.
Okay, that doesn't need to happen.
So now, of course, the parents of China are very worried, and the reports are that it's spread like wildfire among primary and middle school children in China. And they say it's powerful enough to pop a balloon and pierce cardboard.
Wow, which means it's probably going to break skin. So if
Well,
the
this
child
is
is
just-
mischievous, they probably shouldn't have one of these. Like, I mean, if you birth Dennis the Menace, just don't.
All right, we live in a global economy,
Right.
so this will be here soon. It
I
may
would
already
buy
be
one of those.
but this is going to be. It's going to. There's no telling how the government is going to try to step in on this.
Tell me about it.
'Cause-
Could you imagine just, walking in a room and all of a sudden a toothpick is being shot at you like an arrow?
No, I don't want that.
It's a wonderful thing.
No,
It'll
it
be
is-
so much fun.
5-year-olds blinding each other.
Yeah, see, no, this needs to be like for adults only. Like you have to show your ID in order to buy one of these things. But then again, I know people with an ID that are still not responsible enough to have one of these toys.
Right.
But I want one. That's a stress reliever right there. I could just sit in the back of the room, especially in those meetings when you have that person that's asking all those questions. It's like, hey, dude, we're all trying to go home here. All right? That's not even a real question. I could just sit in the back of the meeting and shoot the toothpicks at the back of his head.
Right. Well, I understand the desire to shoot people with a toothpick.
Right.
But I still think this is going to be a big problem. Ariel,
No,
thank
it's
you.
not. No, it's
All right, look, we'll have to disagree on that one. I'm going to let everybody know when I see him at the flea market. All right, there's more to come with the Uncle Henry Show continuing here on the CW55 News Radio 710 WNTM and the Jag.
The Glenn Beck program introduces a new eve. The eve of global war. Celebrate with your family and friends. Today at 5, News Radio 710, WNTM.
First house, last house, mid-south, court that side, porch, cul-de-sac, mid-south, court that brick house, townhouse, don't pay, court that dockside, poolside, outside, court that corner store, warehouse, mama's house, court that.
Tired of painting your home every 4 to 5 years? This is Kevin Mamahat, president of Mid-South Coatings. Better than paint, more durable than latex. Mid-South Coatings is the ultimate alternative to traditional paint. And with our lifetime warranty, you'll never have to paint your home again, guaranteed. If you live anywhere in the Gulf South, call for a free estimate. And since Mid-South Coatings is much thicker than paint, your home will look like it's just been freshly painted forever. So before you paint your home with traditional paint or any product, call Mid-South Coatings for a free estimate.
Call 251-272-4440. 272-4440. That's 272-4440.
Red, white, red, and blue, any color of the net, anywhere you're at, court this, go south, court that.
If you want a good night's sleep, you need a great mattress, and I can tell you where to find better mattresses at lower prices, and that's at Sleep Center right now during the Independence Day time of year. Sleep Center has an incredible any size event. Any size mattress, one low price with Sealy mattresses. For example, you can get a plush any size for $199. You can get a pillow top Sealy mattress any size for $299. Now, when I say any size, I mean twin, full, queen, or king. Memory foam Sealy mattresses, any size for $399. And other great deals are available. Stearns & Foster select mattresses 10% off, plus a free box spring, and the Tempur-Pedic. Save up to $500 on Tempur-Breeze mattress sets. Sleep Center, 3 locations, 2 in Mobile, 1 in the McGowan Park.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on the CW55. Dare to defy, dare to live your life, the mission statement of the CW55. We're in a radio break, the radio listener hearing from our sponsors and also traffic and weather. In fact, I want to get one more, for you, the TV viewer, one more report from our outstanding traffic man, Ray Romero, on waves crashing and water inundating.
Encroaching water has closed the entrance ramp to eastbound I-10 at the causeway on the Mid-Bay. Meantime, the right lane is also closed on the main part of the Causeway Bridge itself. Water also a problem at Lott and the Escatawpa River and Dauphin Island Parkway and Marina Drive. And in Pensacola, authorities still on the scene of a fatal accident involving a pedestrian that's occurred at Rockwood Road and North Davis Highway. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
Okay, so the conditions are going to worsen as we have rain moving in to Mobile County. All right, before we go back to radio, let me go into the email inbox. I do have some email that has trickled into the program. Subject line on the email is farewell shows. Email reads, good morning, Uncle Henry and Ariel. Sad to see you signing off with the double nickel. Will you be having theme shows next week? Is Reagan Girl still going to appear to give you a farewell belly dance performance? I'm really growing weary from all this rain up here in North Mobile County. Have a great one in that email from Bama Big Man. Bama Big Man, thank you for watching. I hope that I don't have theme shows next week, because we're not really going. We'll be off of the CW55 at the end of June, but we're still going to be here. There's no farewelling. We will remain here. So I would prefer not to have theme shows, if at all possible. And as the belly dancing, I don't think that Reagan Girl can make it during the TV hours, but she will, I think at some point, belly dance for us for our Facebook video. So you'll have that to look forward to on Facebook. Bama Big Man, thank you. I'm also weary of the rain here in Midtown. Now, I also look, I will get to more email in just a moment, but we've got to go back on radio. We're going to be back on radio here in about, less than 10 seconds.
Morning. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. News Radio 710 WNTM, 99.5 FM, The Jag. We're here. This is our final television segment, but here for numerous more hours of show. Joining me late in the game, but early for him, Marine Ed Aarons is in the room. Ed Aarons, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Henry. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, roll. I'm sorry that you had to wait to get into the building. Ed Aarons arrived, and we were right in the middle of there's only two of us here right now. So, Ed Aarons, sorry about that.
Not a problem.
But I know you could handle it because of your career, with all the things you've had to put up with in your career. So, Ed Aarons is here, and Junior Misses, I think, might be on their way as well. We are going to have Ed Aarons. I know that John McNeil, Ed Aarons is with McNeil Aarons Lambert. MALfinancial.com is where you can find out about Ed Aarons. Now, I know that John McNeil was on the board with the Distinguished Young Women of America. Is that something that you ever did, or were you on other boards?
No, I was on other boards.
Okay, but you're aware of it because of being here.
Right.
Of being in the community for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, Ed Aarons, in the next hour of the show, we're going to have visitors, I think today, Kansas, Pennsylvania, and Oklahoma.
Wow, that'll be exciting.
Okay, yes. Well, the young that are on an upward trajectory it's always encouraging to be around young people that look like they're going to be doing good things.
Yeah, and they kind of they know the direction they're headed in.
Yes, indeed. Mm-hmm. So we do have that coming up. Let's see, before we run out of time, I was telling a story earlier. There's a man that's a YouTube star, a Hispanic YouTube star I think he's in Texas, and he's changed his name legally to Trump. He's changed his last name to Trump. His new name is Ernesto Trump. In order to, he says it's a career move. He thinks it's going to help his career to be Ernesto Trump. Have you ever thought, ever in your life, or imagined changing your name legally for any reason?
I have not, but I know a young fella in Fairhope who many years ago did change his name.
Okay.
He was a smith, and he didn't think that would bring enough along with it because there's so many other Smiths in the world. So he changed his name to Power, and he is in the real estate business over in Fairhope. Neat guy, real sharp, does an excellent job in his business, has a great family, but his last name is now Power.
How about that? And that name, we can tell why he picked it.
Yeah.
We can tell why he picked it. Now, I wondered to myself, would it help my career? Because I've been unable to go to the next level for numerous decades. would it help my career if I changed my last name? If I, instead of being Uncle Henry, if I were Uncle Saban, do you think that could help?
I think that might.
Well,
but then you'd have a conflict. You'd have to get clearance from the man.
I didn't think about that. I didn't think that I might need to ask permission if I changed my name to Saban, like Coach Saban.
Mm-hmm. I don't know whether from a legal standpoint you would have to do that.
Now, I got an email from Scotty White of ScottyWhite.com who says he thinks it would only work if I fully committed and changed my name to Bear Saban.
Bear Saban. That'd be a good one,
It would be a difficult one. Now, we're almost out of time on the TV portion of our show, but we're very fortunate that we have the distinguished young women already arriving so we can get them on broadcast television today. Would you mind coming up to these two microphones? We have 3 of them here today. Now, and good morning to you. You'll have to get right on the microphones if you answer me. So good morning.
Good morning to you too.
It is great to have you here. Now, the email that I got said that we were going to have Kansas, Pennsylvania, and Oklahoma. Is that who we have?
Yes.
Wonderful. So how have you enjoyed the weather this week?
It's been very rainy, but still really good.
Kind of unexpected. We packed for hot.
You packed for hot and you got wet. So what have you done since you haven't been able to go outdoors much?
More rehearsal.
So that may be good.
Yeah, it is. It's great. It's great. We need it.
How demanding has rehearsal been?
You know, we ran fitness full out yesterday, and I think we're all kind of feeling it a little bit, but it's been going good.
What does that mean, you ran out fitness? Explain what that means.
So we have to do a 10-minute fitness routine, with squats, jumping jacks, the whole shebang. And we learned it before we came here, but we had to do it full out yesterday. So doing all the jumps, all the push-ups, and I don't think any of us were really prepared.
Now, I want to introduce you. This is Ed Ahrens of McNeil Ahrens Lambert Financial Group. Ed, did you know that jumping jacks were a part of this?
I did not.
I didn't. Ariel, did you know that jumping jacks were involved in this? I did not know that you had to do jumping jacks and squats.
Lots of squats.
Lots of squats. That is not...
48 to be specific.
48 squats? Wow. Well, I'm impressed that you're standing here, because if I did 48 squats yesterday, I'd be in the hospital. I would not be standing
You'd
upright.
have rubber legs, wouldn't you?
I would, most definitely. It would feel like I was walking on a different planet. All right, well, look, we're glad that you made it here early, and we're going to find out more about your lives when we come back from our break here on radio. Now, those of you that are watching on the CW55, if you'd like to continue with us and hear about the lives of these young women, you can watch us on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page. We'll have video there. We'll start that video up at about 5 minutes past the hour. And we'll also have that video available on YouTube later today if you'd like to go back and look at it. And we'll find out where they plan to go in school, if that's part of the plan, what their talent is, what they think of our area, although they may not have been. Have you been able to do anything in Mobile because of the weather?
We went to Bellengrath Gardens, so that was really beautiful. It did not rain that day.
Okay. All right, so you did get to do something. All right, well, we'll be back with them on both radio and on Facebook in just a few minutes after the news. For you, the TV viewer, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow morning here on the CW55. Radio listeners, back in a moment.
With Quicken Loans, our simple process helps you understand all the details so you can be confident that you're getting the right mortgage. Call 800-QUICKEN or go completely online with Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.23%. Call 800-QUICKEN or get started online at rocketmortgage.com. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
The key to success? Keep it simple, especially when it comes to hiring. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions. Manage your candidates from one dashboard. According to an independent study, 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. New users claim your $50 credit to post a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Hey guys, let's talk performance. Are you tired of all the sex pills and products that just don't work? Are you frustrated with high costs and side effects of prescriptions? Wouldn't it be nice to know that when that intimate moment is happening, that you are confident to satisfy your partner every time? You need to try Noxitril, the explosive, all-natural male enhancement pill that will change your life once and for all. Noxitril is like having results on demand with powerful ingredients that go to work right away. We make it in certified top-quality FDA labs, and the results are off the charts. Best of all, right now we are celebrating over 10 million pills sold and want all men to take advantage of our free bottle offer. With guaranteed results, you have nothing to lose.
Call now and find out how to get a free bottle of Noxitril while supplies last. Call 1-800-450-1381. That's 800-450-1381. Free bottles for a limited time, so call now. 800-450-1381. 800-450-1381.
You're home for Rush. Weekdays at 11. News Radio 710 WNTM Mobile. An iHeart radio station. 99.9 WMXC HD3 Mobile. 710 Time Saver Traffic from the Dean McCrary Audi Traffic Center.
Look for an accident with injury on Theodore Dawes and Creel Road. Also a new crash on North University and Mickey Drive. The bigger concern this morning is going to be the weather. There's a lot of high water remaining and some new high water as well, as the causeway, which got pounded during the drive yesterday afternoon, is starting to see high water once again. The entrance and exit ramps to I-10 at Mid-Bay have been closed. Right lane is closed on the eastbound side of the causeway itself. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Gemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
It is Friday Eve, the weekend so close, and it looks like we're still going to be dealing with some soggy conditions. For your Thursday, an 80% chance of wet weather. We'll top out at 84, and by the way, we are under a tornado watch until 1 p.m. Lows tonight in the 70s, and for your TGIF, a high of 87, also a 40% chance of wet weather. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News and this iHeartRadio station.
Senate Republicans are ready to roll out how they'd replace Obamacare. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Every member of the Senate will have it, and it will be posted online for everyone to review.
Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, but it won't be the full bill today. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, lawmakers will get a look at a draft discussion of the legislation as Leader McConnell works against Republicans on the same page. The plan was crafted behind closed doors, which upset some, including Democratic leader Chuck Schumer.
You know why they're doing it they're doing this bill and not showing it to anyone in the dark of night? They are ashamed of their bill.
Republican Senator John McCain wishes he'd had more input.
I think we need to have vigorous debate and amendments on the floor of the Senate.
Republicans hope to have a vote on the final plan before the July 4th recess. Dave.
Rachel, President Trump has reportedly called the House bill mean. He says the Senate one will have heart, telling a rally in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Democrats keep trying to obstruct.
And they've been unbelievably nasty. Really nasty.
He cited his successes, pushed his agenda, and about that border wall.
We're thinking about building the wall as a solar wall, so it creates energy and pays for itself.
He also pushed a plan that would bar new immigrants from getting welfare for 5 years. Tropical storm Cindy keeps raining down on Gulf states.
This was quite an experience to be right on the coast.
He's in Dauphin Island. Elsewhere in Alabama, a 10-year-old boy was killed on a beach, hit by a log that was carried in a big wave in rough surf.
Forecasters say Cindy could dump 6 to 9 inches of rain on the Gulf Coast states, from the Florida Panhandle all the way to Texas. 13 inches of rain in some isolated spots.
Fox's Casey Stiegel standing where a bayou has flooded streets in Lake Charles, Louisiana. AAA says a lot of Americans will travel over the 4th of July weekend. More than 44 million. That's a record, with nearly 3% more than last year. Fox News, fair and balanced.
A police standoff while you slept, and Cindy's inland, but she's still here. I'm Local 15's Darwin Singleton with this iHeartRadio News Update. Happening right now, Mobile Police involved in a standoff in the 1200 block of South Craft Highway. That's an area very close to the Pritchard and Chickasaw city limits. We have learned that Pritchard police are also at the scene, and witnesses are telling us this may have involved a stolen vehicle and a police pursuit. We have a crew at that scene. We'll be getting more updates, and we'll give you that information as we get it. Tropical Storm Cindy now moving inland over the Louisiana-Texas border this morning. The storm will weaken as it tracks northeastward across Louisiana into southeast Arkansas tonight and into Friday. Maximum sustained winds now about 45 miles per hour this morning. But the danger of tornadoes and flooding remains high for our stretch of the Gulf Coast today. A tornado watch for our area has been extended through 1 o'clock this afternoon. Gusty winds, rip currents, and isolated tornadoes are all possible for us today as Cindy continues to drench us with heavy amounts of moisture from the Gulf. Sand and debris now cover streets on Dauphin Island's west end as the storm pushes Gulf water under beachfront homes there. Island police have set up a checkpoint stopping sightseers from getting stuck, warning them that water's on the road and to avoid that area, especially if you have a low-lying vehicle. The mayor says as soon as the storm passes, crews have been told they'll be working overtime to clear the roads. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey will address the state's response to Tropical Storm Cindy at a news conference today at noon. The governor will be joined by Alabama Emergency Management Director Art Faulkner and state meteorologist Jim Stefkovich. And Baldwin County Summer School and school activities, they're all set to resume as scheduled this morning. For us, this storm is not over. Local 15 News and iHeartRadio will continue to gather and report the news that you need to know until Cindy is gone. I'm Local 15's Darwin Singleton reporting for this iHeartRadio station.
From the Mercedes-Benz of Mobile Studios, this is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM The Jag. You can also watch us. We've got the video now up on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page live, so you can look at me. You can look at Ed Ahrens of McNeil Ahrens Lambert Financial Group. Ed is here with me. Ed, good morning again to you.
Good morning, Uncle Henry.
And we want to welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show microphones some contestants in the Distinguished Young Women of America competition. We have Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, and Kansas with us. And I'm going to try and get the names correct. From Oklahoma, Anna Teresa Antilles. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Maxine Melvar of Pennsylvania.
Yes, sir.
And I'm getting surd. This is amazing, Ed Ahrens. Hope Edmonds of Kansas.
Yes, sir.
Wow. A triple sirring today on the Uncle Henry Show. Welcome. Glad that you're here. We found out in our last segment with the Distinguished Young Women of America that with all of the rain, that meant extra rehearsal and a lot of fitness yesterday. Now, what was involved in your fitness rehearsals yesterday?
Well, we started out by going over it just for memory purposes, and then the time came where we had to stretch out and just do it. But it was great because all the other groups would cheer the other groups on, and it was really encouraging. You know, mental toughness is a big part of the fitness routine.
I never thought about that before, but it is mental toughness. Mm-hmm. Now, we love to find out the plans of the Distinguished Young Women of America. Oklahoma, what do you want to do once you're beyond the program?
Well, I plan to attend the University of Virginia in Charlottesville, Virginia in the fall, and I'm going to major in nursing and participate in their dance team there. So I'll graduate with my BSN and hopefully go to graduate school and become a labor and delivery nurse. That's the plan as of right now.
Labor and delivery nurse. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're good in a crisis.
We'll see. We'll find out.
Now, Pennsylvania, Maxine,
Yes, sir.
What do you want to do when you're beyond the program?
So in the fall, I will be attending Cornell University in Ithaca, New York, and I will be majoring in linguistics as a pre-law track and ultimately matriculate to law school.
Linguistics
Yes,
and
sir.
law school.
Yes, sir.
Now, why linguistics with law? Are you going to practice some form of international law?
I'm considering it. I'm not. I haven't chosen a path for law, or if I even want to practice, I might go on TV and be a political pundit or write for a journal. We're not sure yet. We'll see where it takes us.
My goodness gracious. Ed Ahrens, impressive, is it not?
Very much so. Wow.
I'm
just in awe of these young ladies.
I am too.
Thank you, sir.
It's when I was your age, I think I just mastered tying my shoes. And had not thought of linguistics, law school, nursing, anything like that. All right, look, we're following the weather situation, of course. And for the radio listener, we've got traffic and weather together here. We do it every 10 minutes on the 9s. When we come back, we'll find out about the plans of Hope from Kansas, and also a little bit more about their talent, what they're going to do during the competition. That's coming up in 90 seconds here on The Uncle Henry Show.
Time saver traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
As the waves still crash along the causeway, we do have a number of traffic restrictions that have popped up through that part of the drive. The right lane is closed on the eastbound side of the Bayway, and you also have the entrance and exit ramps at I-10 shut down as well as the water becomes more of a concern there. The bridge is not closed. It is passable, but certainly not going to be an easy drive through that area this morning. Also an accident with injury on Theodore Dawes and Creel Road, and water also high at Dauphin Island Parkway and Marina Drive. I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by Unbound. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Southern Cancer Center. Weather Center.
More thunder expected on this Thursday, and we also have a tornado watch for our entire viewing area until 1 p.m. An 80% chance of rainstorms, a high today of 84, a muggy night in the 70s, less rain for your TGIF. Friday will bring a 40% chance of showers. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation.
Hey everybody, I'm Eric Church, asking you to join me in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS through the T.J. Martell Foundation. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn about music's promise for a cure.
News? Check. Traffic and weather? Check. Opinions? Check. This is the Uncle Henry Show, only on News Radio 710 WNTM.
We're back here on the Uncle Henry Show, here with Ed Aarons, MALFinancial.com, and we've got Distinguished Young Women of America here with us. Of course, we're going to keep you up to date throughout the morning on the weather conditions, so keep it here as we do have traffic and weather every 10 minutes for you on the 9s. Right now, we do have Distinguished Young Women of America with us from Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, and Kansas. Hope Edmonds is representing Kansas in the competition. Hope, what do you want to do once you get beyond the competition?
Well, right now the plan is to head on down to Texas Christian University in Fort Worth, Texas, and it's a little bit of ways away from home, so it's a new adventure. And I'll be studying neuroscience there on the medical track, and hopefully I'll go back and graduate from KU Med afterwards and become a radiation oncologist.
Wow. Ooh. Okay. Another high octane, brainy thing that is here. All three of you, and it sounds like you've picked professions that can really help the people around you. Now, Hope, part of being in the competition is displaying a talent. What are you going to do as your talent?
Well, for my talent, I'm going to be dancing to Footloose, since it's a classic and I love that movie. I'll be doing a jazz acro routine, so there'll be some tumbling involved in it, and then some jazz to go along with it.
Okay, so Footloose now considered a classic.
Wow.
In modern America. Now, Maxine of Pennsylvania, what is your talent?
I will be singing Think of Me from Fan with the Opera, and it's the same song that I sang at both my local and state competitions, and I won overall talent, so hopefully that goes well here too.
Great. Okay. Good for you. And Anna Teresa of Oklahoma, what is your talent?
I'll be dancing as well. It'll be kind of a jazz tango situation. I have a fan, if that helps.
Oh, you're going to fan dance?
Yes.
Wow.
That's exciting.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Do you enjoy, there are a lot of different aspects of the competition. Do you enjoy the talent aspect of it? Or does it make you nervous?
Both. I think it's great that we're all able to get on stage individually and represent our states or your county or whichever level you are at of the program. It is nerve-wracking though, but it's very exciting, especially when you get off stage and you feel as if you've done well.
What for all three of you? What is the most challenging aspect of the competition?
Fitness, bar none.
Really, it's something that a lot of us would think of that as kind of a basic, because it's all you're doing is really a list of instructions, but it's just being able to do it is the challenging part.
Well, I think all of us can do fitness well, and that's one of the things with us being here in this program right now. But a big challenge for it is making it look good while you're doing it. So smiling and making it look like you're not tired at all whatsoever while you're working out.
We can survive fitness, but that's about it for right now.
Do you have to keep smiling the whole time?
Yes.
It's highly suggested.
You know, as you go by these runners and joggers on the road, as you're passing them, you never see any of them smiling.
Right? It's unrealistic fitness. Fitness with a smile is a whole new level.
So that is a challenge. You're providing a smiling fitness, and that is a challenge. All right, we're gonna talk a little bit more. If you can you stay by for just a few more minutes? All right, we're going to talk a little bit more with the Distinguished Young Women of America, and of course, we're keeping you up to date every 10 minutes on the traffic conditions and weather conditions, as we're still dealing with all of this impact from Cindy. So traffic and weather are coming up. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show.
We hope you had a great Father's Day weekend, and I hope Dad got him a Harley. Huh? Hey, Chip Nelson, Rockets Rush Chairman. Whether it's pre-loved or new, the time is right at Harley-Davidson of Pensacola to ride into this summer like never before. And one ride is all it takes. You can take a free test ride on any Harley-Davidson motorcycle. Schedule it in advance. You can also get pre-qualified on their website without using your social, and it won't affect your credit score. At PensacolaHarley.com or ride into that beautiful dealership on Highway 29 in Car City.
At Mercedes-Benz Mobile, servicing the customer always comes first. If your Mercedes is in need of repair or general maintenance, come see us at our state-of-the-art service center on Dolphin Street. Our Holly certified auto technicians are equipped with the latest tools and technologies to take care of your Mercedes or any other luxury vehicle, including Lexus, BMW, Audi, and Jaguar. Give your car a little TLC and visit our service center at 3060 Dolphin Street today. Mercedes-Benz Mobile, doing our part to keep you moving forward.
Locally owned and operated, Delta Disaster Services is the Gulf Coast solution from minor mishaps to more serious setbacks.
Hello, my name is Matthew Morris with Morris Insurance. When we have a customer call after a pipe breaks or a tree falls through their roof, I want them to know that everything will be taken care of and to give them peace of mind. I'm confident that Zach and his team at Delta Disaster will be there right away, even in the middle of the night.
Mitigation to reconstruction, Delta Disaster is there, servicing Mobile, Baldwin County, Pensacola, and Biloxi.
Take care of your skin. See Dr. Thomas Bender at Advanced Dermatology and Skincare Center. Dr. Bender sees patients in Mobile, Daphne, and Bay Minette. Find out more online at advanceddermclinic.com.
Now playing on iHeartRadio. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band.
From Ramblin' Gamblin' Man to The Fire Inside and beyond.
The Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band catalog is now available. When he sings, you believe it. When he plays, you feel it. Listen to all of your favorite Bob Seger songs, streaming now on iHeartRadio All Access.
With Quicken Loans, our simple process helps you understand all the details so you can be confident that you're getting the right mortgage. Call 800-QUICKEN or go completely online with Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.23%. Call 800-QUICKEN or get started online at rocketmortgage.com. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
When smart businesses need to grow their team, they do it on the site proven to deliver. Indeed.com. According to an independent study, Indeed delivers 5 times more hires than any other job site. More hires than the rest combined. And right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, boosting your listing in relevant search results. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
I'm Gretchen Rubin, author of The Happiness Project and several books about happiness.
And I'm Elizabeth Kraft, a TV writer and producer.
We're sisters, and together we host Happier. In each episode of Happier, we offer tips and strategies on how to be happier.
Listen for free by searching for Happier on iHeartRadio now.
Time saver traffic from the Dean McCrary Kia Traffic Center.
As the waves still crash along the causeway, we do have a number of traffic restrictions that have popped up through that part of the drive. The right lane is closed on the eastbound side of the Bayway, and you also have the entrance and exit ramps at I-10 shut down as well as the water becomes more of a concern there. The bridge is not closed. It is passable, but it's certainly not going to be an easy drive through that area this morning. Also an accident with injury on Theodore Dawes and Creel Road, and water also high at Dauphin Island Parkway and Marina Drive. I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by Unbound. A more peaceful, healthy world happens one person at a time. Around the globe, there are children who dream of helping their families, who hope for the future, and who have a name. Know the person you're helping directly at unbound.org.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
Good morning, everybody. You're going to have to dodge more lightning bolts and heavy downpours. Another tropical Thursday along the Gulf Coast. Our coverage today will be at 80%. We're also under a tornado watch until 1 p.m. This is for everybody in our viewing area. Highs today will reach the mid-80s. A 40% chance of storms for your Thursday. It will get warmer, though, with a high of 87. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News and this iHeartRadio station.
You're home for Rush every weekday at 11. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Back on the Uncle Henry Show. Ed Aarons is here, malfinancial.com. We'll keep you updated on the latest with Cindy, both traffic and weather. We do that every 10 minutes. And we also have news with Darwin Singleton coming up in about 10 minutes on the Uncle Henry Show. Before we get into all of that, we're going to continue our conversation with distinguished young women of America. You may not have noticed that it's that time of year because we've had all of the tropical weather, but we do have the Distinguished Young Women of America with their competition going on in Mobile. Right now, they're in town, and in the studio with Ed and myself, we have representatives from Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, and Kansas. And I know this week you've had to spend a lot of time indoors because of the weather. And you're hoping to get out and about, I'm sure, a bit more as this lifts out of here. But during your time here, let me ask you this. Have all three of you spent much time in the South before?
Yes, I used to live in Athens, Georgia, so right next door.
So you know the South.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Maxine of Pennsylvania or Hope of Kansas, what about you?
No, sir. The South is a foreign place to me. I've never heard of half of these restaurants.
Yeah, I've heard of a few by like going down to Texas and visiting different places while like taking a family vacation, driving down to Florida. But besides that, nothing too much has prepared me for coming down to the South and the good Southern hospitality that we've all definitely received, constantly being fed.
Now, Maxine of Pennsylvania, you told us in a previous segment that you're going to study linguistics on your track of pre-law.
Yes, sir.
Have you noticed anything linguistically about the way we talk?
A couple of things here and there. Y'all and yes ma'am, no ma'am. All adults are addressed as Miss or Mr., which isn't really normal in the North, but you acclimate. And there's a different cadence to the way people talk down here, a different emphasis on the words. So it's been really interesting. It's like a new language.
So in Pennsylvania, there is no yes ma'am, no ma'am?
No, sir.
Is there sir?
Not really. No.
Really? Did you know that, Ed Aarons?
I didn't.
We've got yes sir and yes ma'am, and they don't have it in Pennsylvania.
Not very common, no.
Wow. What about in Kansas, Hope? Are there yes ma'ams going on in Kansas?
In Kansas, it's where I live. It's almost like a melting pot. So
Right.
we live right by Fort Leavenworth. So there's a lot of military families that come in. So we really get a really wide variety of different things.
So there might be a ma'am every now and again.
A few of my friends, especially the ones who are from the South, say yes ma'am and no sir, different things like that. But if you're from the North, I don't hear as much. It's usually just like Mr. and Mrs., But yeah, I think it's just kind of depends on your situation because everybody just kind of says all of them.
Well, what do you think of Mobile, Alabama? What's it been like for you?
I think Mobile has been fantastic, and I've really enjoyed coming down here and getting to meet everybody, especially our host families. We all love them. And everybody's treated us very nice, and it's been very fun coming down here and being able to see everybody and going to Bell and Grass, and I'm really excited for what's to come, too.
And Maxine of Pennsylvania, I'm sure you've heard about the South and may have a preconceived notion about the South. The reality of the South, I mean, has anything surprised you?
No, sir. Like Hope said, the Southern hospitality is exactly what people mark it up to be. It's welcoming and very warm, and I haven't felt out of place at all. I feel like I've been here for months, and it's only been 6 days.
Okay, and that's a good thing, I hope?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay. Now, we want to mention that for you, the listener, if you want to go see this competition, you can go to distinguishedYW.org and find out about tickets. You can also watch a webcast, and they have information at their website about how you can purchase access to watch 3 nights or just one. That's all available at their website, distinguishedYW.org, to watch. So the part of the competition where now you're asked a question, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that intimidating?
Yes, sir. It just depends because at some local programs and at some state programs, they may or may not give you the question before, which could also be just as intimidating because then you feel as if you're supposed to perform better because you knew your question beforehand. But they would never give it to you more than an hour to 2 hours before while you're also doing other things during that time period. So either way, it's still a little scary, especially in front of everybody else. But it's also really fun to be able to express your thoughts and feelings about something you care about.
Would you, if a young woman is listening now wondering if they should try to get involved in this program, what would you tell them?
Absolutely. Definitely go for it.
Yes, it's been an amazing experience, and my mom did this when she was in high school, and it's still carrying on, so it's really been neat to be able to see what she saw and do different things that she might have done while down here, and it's definitely a program worth looking into and participating in because it's given us many experiences that we wouldn't have been able to have otherwise.
Well, it's something we certainly, through the years, I know Ed Aarons was telling me off the air that he remembers being around the program 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So this is something we've truly enjoyed having here locally.
Even back when it was called Junior Miss.
Yes, we've really benefited from it as well. All right, well, we're out of time here. It was great meeting all three of you. I wish you the very best.
Thank you so much for having us, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. Distinguished Young Women of America. All right, coming up, we've got all the latest on the impact of Tropical Storm Cindy. Traffic, weather, also news from Fox News with Darwin of Local 15. That's next for you on The Uncle Henry Show.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Stock index futures are a little change to lower while crude oil has reversed course and is edging higher this morning. NYMEX crude is up almost 0.5% at $42.73 a barrel as Tropical Storm Cindy curbs energy production in the Gulf of Mexico. First it was groceries. Now Amazon is taking aim at fashion. The e-commerce giant's latest service, Amazon Prime Wardrobe, lets people try on items at home before they buy them. News of the service sent shares of department stores lower in a repeat of what happened to grocery shares when Amazon said it was buying Whole Foods. Shares of American Airlines are higher in pre-market trading. The carrier says that Qatar Airways is interested in buying a 10% stake. Meanwhile, American will find a new supplier to make uniforms for 70,000 employees after thousands of complaints by flight attendants who said the current outfits were making them ill. The carrier won't renew its contract with the Taylor Brands unit, Twin Hill, but the company says choosing new suppliers will take up to 3 years. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
If you want a good night night's sleep, you need a great mattress. And I can tell you where to find better mattresses at lower prices, and that's at Sleep Center right now during the Independence Day time of year. Sleep Center has an incredible any size event. Any size mattress, one low price with Sealy mattresses. For example, you can get a plush any size for $199. You can get a pillow top Sealy mattress any size for $299. Now, when I say any size, I mean twin, full, queen, or king. Memory foam Sealy mattresses any size for $399. And other great deals are available. Stearns & Foster select mattresses 10% off plus a free box spring, and the Tempur-Pedic. Save up to $500 on Tempur-Breeze mattress sets. Sleep Center, 3 locations, 2 in Mobile, 1 in the McGowan Park next to Verizon Wireless, also 1 on Airport Boulevard in the Esther Oak Shopping Center, and on the Eastern Shore in Spanish Fort in the Eastern Shore Center. Look for Sleep Center online at sleepcenternow.net.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
Lots of high water remains through the area this morning, including Lod at the Escatawpa River, Dolphin Island Parkway, and Marina Drive. But the water situation that may impact the most of you is on the causeway. The bridge is not closed, but the water, particularly on the eastbound side, is really starting to impact that far right lane, so only the left lane is passable. They've also closed the I-10 entrance and exit ramps there as well. Again, the causeway not closed, but you do have restrictions there. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Southern Cancer Center. Weather Center.
It is Friday Eve, the weekend so close, and it looks like we're still going to be dealing with some soggy conditions. For your Thursday, an 80% chance of wet weather. We'll top out at 84, and by the way, we are under a tornado watch until 1 p.m. Lows tonight in the 70s, and for your TGIF, a high of 87, also a 40% chance of wet weather. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News and this iHeartRadio station.
An overnight standoff with Mobile and Pritchard police is over. It happened on South Craft Highway overnight after 3 men robbed a Walgreens on Spring Hill Avenue, then barricaded themselves in a house on that street on South Craft Highway. The police had to use gas to get the men out, but they say they have made 3 arrests. The standoff is over. No one was injured. We'll be having more on this story as the day progresses.
Hey, this is Uncle Henry. If you need a chiropractor, let me introduce you to the doctors at Mobile Chiropractic Associates. They're on Downtown Boulevard in Mobile. I'm being treated by Dr. Call. I've got a little neck pain, little elbow pain, and Dr. Call practices with Dr. Dixon and Dr. Henry. They've got a chiropractic practice for the entire family, for people of all ages. If you've got back pain, neck pain like me, sports injuries, work injuries, problems from a car accident, see the folks at Mobile Chiropractic Associates. Now, when I've gone to see Dr. Call, I've been impressed by the friendly, professional staff. In fact, the great customer service started when I made my first phone call to schedule an appointment. Most insurances are accepted. They do all the paperwork. Call them at 251-341-1211. That's 251-341-1211. Look for them on Facebook or visit them online at chiroassociates.com. chiroassociates.com.
Did you know only 20% of job seekers get an interview? In many cases, that's because companies use software to screen applications before anyone ever sees your resume. At Express Employment Professionals, we're your local resource to help you land that new job. Visit your nearby Express office today to speak with real professionals connected to the available jobs in your community. Express has 18,000 jobs available each week and never charges job seekers a fee. Visit expresspros.com to find the office nearest you. That's expresspros.com.
You don't want to mess with the IRS. They have the power to garnish your paycheck, levy your bank accounts, and even take your home or business. That's all true. But thankfully, they're offering a way out. The Fresh Start Initiative. If you qualify, it could save you thousands. The experts at Optima Tax Relief will fight to get you the best possible tax settlement. And they have an A rating with the Better Business Bureau to prove it. Call Optima for your free consultation.
Call 800-960-1575. 800-960-1575.
Hey, this is Uncle Henry. If you have a tree problem, let me introduce you to someone who can help you solve it. That's Donnie Chastang at Chastang's Tree Service. Donnie Chastang offers residential and commercial tree service, and this includes tree removal, tree trimming, stump grinding, tree topping, and deadwooding. And I really like the fact that Donnie has invested in all the best state-of-the-art equipment needed to handle any job, no matter how difficult. and his employees. At Chastang's Tree Service, they've got many years of experience in the tree business. So with the right equipment and experienced employees, Donnie Chastang can handle jobs quickly and professionally. So if you've got a tree problem, call Donnie Chastang at Chastang's Tree Service for a free estimate. The telephone number is 251-342-4667. That's 251-342-4667. That's Donnie Chastang with Chastang's Tree Service.
With Quicken Loans, our simple process helps you understand all the details so you can be confident that you're getting the right mortgage. Call 800-QUICKEN or go completely online with Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.23%. Call 800-QUICKEN or get started online at rocketmortgage.com. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
News from the NFL, where the Oakland Raiders and young star quarterback Derek Carr are reportedly close to finalizing a long-term contract extension worth around $25 million per season. In the NBA, the Cleveland Cavaliers have reportedly offered former NBA player Chauncey Billups a 5-year deal to be the team's next general manager. He has no previous front office experience. In the NHL, in just his second year in the league, Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers won the Hart Trophy as league MVP. Checking baseball in the National League, the Dodgers beat the Mets 8-2. LA moves in the first place in the NL West, and now a half game up on Colorado as the Rockies were rolled over by the Diamondbacks 16-5. Padres beat the Cubs 3-2. Was the Brewers over the Pirates 4-3. Marlins knock off the Nationals 2-1. Washington starting pitcher Max Scherzer had a no-hitter into the 8th inning. He ended up taking the loss despite not allowing an earned run. 10 innings, Cardinals edge the Phillies 7-6. Braves walk off with a 5-3 win over the Giants in 11 innings.
We love Nick Saban. Just wanted to get that out of the way. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Here with Ed Aarons, MALFinancial.com, McNeil Aarons Lambert Financial Group. We're going to continue to keep you updated on the impact. We're still having some impact from the tropical storm weather, and while we haven't had a lot of rain yet this morning, there's more on the way. So we're going to check in about 15 minutes with Darwin of Local 15. Now, I've known him for so many years, Ed Aarons, I just want to call him Darwin, even though his name is Darwin Singleton. But yeah. Darwin will be checking in with us from Local 15 in about 15 minutes. And I just want to point out that last night I had one of my first power outages in years, and it was I was impressed that Alabama Power got things back on within about 90 minutes, despite what sounded very loud. This whatever went was louder than anything I've heard. Now you were telling me off the air that you've also had power outages recently, but they were not weather related.
No, they were animal related. The power poles on the street in front of our office, the power line runs down the power pole underground into our offices. And apparently the last time they had fixed it, they left a portion of the wiring, which was covered by a kind of a metal piping, they left it open up at the top. And squirrels love to eat the insulation off of the wires.
Oh, my.
And so apparently when they get up there and they start nibbling on it and they break through to the wire, it shorts out, blows the transformer, and then we have fried squirrel.
My goodness. Now I remember, I'm on your email list, and I remember a few emails, at least a couple of emails this year that I've gotten about power outages at your office. And I had no idea that they were squirrel-related power outages.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting, the way they run the wiring down, they have to cover it. And it's got a metal sheath around it that's attached to the telephone pole. But they have to leave a portion of it open at the top to get the wiring down into it. And so that's where the squirrels love to get. And I can remember the little vent stacks that you have on your roof.
Yes, yes.
Squirrels love to eat that, especially if they're lead. the old lead ones. And I think the last house that I owned, we had to replace those with plastic ones because they don't eat the plastic.
It is something here we are with all this incredible technology all around us. We're seeing the world change through technology, but still in 2017, a squirrel can come in and eat something and knock out the power.
Totally disrupt everything. Yeah.
A few years ago, there was a major power outage on the Eastern Shore when a cat got into some substation, and it knocked out an entire town for a while. And it was a touchy subject. I brought it up to the mayor of that town once in a conversation. He got mad at me for bringing up the cat. Well, look, we've had some power outages in the last day or so that have been weather related. In fact, we're going to update you now on weather, traffic and weather. We do it together every 10 minutes on the 9s, and then back with more show.
Time Saver Traffic from the Dean McCrary Volkswagen Traffic Center.
This report is brought to you by Compassion International. Every child is born with talents, hopes, and dreams, but poverty will steal those dreams. You can help a child find hope when you become their sponsor with Compassion International. Give a child a chance to dream again. Find out how at compassion.com/radio.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
More thunder expected on this Thursday, and we also have a tornado watch for our entire viewing area until 1 p.m. An 80% chance of rainstorms, a high today of 84, a muggy night in the 70s, less rain for your TGIF. Friday will bring a 40% chance of showers. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
This report is brought to you by Compassion International. The future is bleak for a child living in poverty. No school, no dreams, no hope, but you can change all that when you become a Compassion Child sponsor. Just a little more than $1 a day brings hope. Find out how at compassion.com/radio.
Your better workday starts with a better variety from the 80s to now. Listen while you work to the Gulf Coast Mix 99.9. You'll find us on iHeartRadio. This morning at 9, Ask the Expert. Then Rush at 11. Right now, it's Uncle Henry on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here with Ed Aarons, and we're continuing to keep you updated on any impacts of the Cindy weather, which even though we haven't had a lot of rain this morning and overnight, we're still seeing some impact and going to see more rain. We have that on the way for Mobile County as it moves from west to east. Now, we were expecting a call from Darwin of Local 15 in about 10 minutes. That's in question now because we talk to Angelo of Mobile Pay Coins at this time every day, and he just sent me a message saying that all circuits are busy, even though our phones are not ringing. So maybe a squirrel. Now, we were talking about the squirrels earlier. We may have our own squirrel problem involving our telecommunications with all circuits busy. So we will try to make contact with Darwin if at all possible. And I did have Mary Z. Lee send me an email saying that Darwin is like Sting, Cher, and Madonna, that he doesn't need both names. He can just be Darwin, at least in this town. If you want to contact us, email address unclehenry@gmail.com. That's unclehenry@gmail.com. We do have an email about squirrels. Subject line on the email is squirrels. Email reads, several years ago you had a feller on Ask the Expert who had a business taking care of troublesome critters, and he stated that rodents gnaw the wire to sharpen their teeth. And that email from 60-year-old Chris in West Loxley. I don't remember that, Ed Aarons. Have you ever heard that?
I was not aware of that.
The squirrels like to eat the wiring. I guess there's a dispute on why. But it's never in their best interest if
No.
you're biting into the power line.
There's a lot of risk involved to the squirrel.
Yes, there's the sharp teeth comes with a great price.
Yes.
If that is why you're chewing the wires. Now, we talked about weather impact of Cindy, and we're going to keep you up to date on that. Ed Aarons, you commute in from far away, living on the beautiful Eastern Shore. I'm sure the commute better today than yesterday, or was it?
No, because there's more accumulated water. Yesterday, the water was not breaking over the road. This morning, it was. And, as I was coming in, there was a big TV truck or something, as we talked about earlier, parked at Ed's shed. So apparently they're getting ready for something that they anticipate is coming our way, which is very easy to see all the water breaking over the walls on the bayway or on the causeway. And then as you try to get up on the I-10 from the bayway, that first little junction, I thought my car was going to be a submarine, but made it through it okay. But now I just heard lately that they had closed those on-ramps because the water accumulation has gotten to be dangerous.
Yeah, we've gotten as much as really we can handle when it comes to that. And I've been watching the radar this morning, and for the last 2 hours or so, the rain that is moving from west to east is moving very slowly. And so the people, Biloxi, Loosedale, those communities they've just been getting hammered for the last few hours with what looks like very heavy rain. And that allegedly will be moving into Mobile County at some point. So the commute not going to get better as the morning goes on.
You know, that little bait shop on the causeway right there as you come down the hill out of Spanish Fort.
Yes.
Its parking lot was flooded, and all the boats on trailers look like they're just about to start floating off trailers.
Traffic and weather are next. Uncle Henry Show.
You've heard the news.
It's a new generation of missiles.
You know the story.
All options are on the table.
Now it's time to share your opinion.
We have a very serious issue in the world right now called North Korea.
News Radio 710, WNTM.
Hey, for security, alarm systems, cameras, monitoring, and more, call TSI Alarms and Audio. Call 251-662-0500 or online at thetsigroup.com. TSI Alarms and Audio.
When you have a passion for pasta or pizza, it's Pizzeria Delfina. Owner Richie Gambino puts his personal touch on perfecting pasta, pizza, calzone, antipastas, stromboli, and more. With fresh ingredients and a love for creating culinary classics for lunch and dinner Monday through Saturday, and on Sunday too from 4 to 9 p.m. Pizzeria Delfina. Authentic Italian food made fresh to order. Dine-in, take-out, catering, and delivery available through Port City Deliveries. Pizzeria Delfina. Lower Dolphin Street, downtown Mobile.
The folks at Mobile Bay Harley want to see you on a Harley Davidson. They're so serious that they're offering a $1,000 gift card with the purchase of any pre-owned Harley. That's right, they're willing to pay you to ride one home. Catch Bike Nights on Thursday the 22nd and every other Thursday following as you join them for free food, drinks, and live entertainment. Stop in on any Saturday in June and enjoy a free barbecue and a brew as you take a look around the showroom. So what are you waiting for? Come by Mobile Bay Harley, where there's always a party.
This is Uncle Henry. I'm here with Ed Aarons of McNeil Aarons Lambert Financial Group. McNeil Aarons Lambert in business for over 90 years. Ed, why do you think MAL has been around so long in business?
Uncle Henry, it's important to us to do the right thing for our clients. And when you do the right thing for clients, it always works out long term. And we like to educate our people so that they can start smart and ultimately finish strong.
For over 90 years, the professionals at McNeil Aarons Lambert Financial Group have been helping their clients with their personal estate and retirement planning. Give them a call at 666-5000. That's 666-5000. Or visit them online. The website is malfinancial.com. Again, the website malfinancial.com. Ed and Virginia are investment advisor representatives with AE Wealth Management. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, which is an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Mercedes-Benz is a call like no other. We're offering leasing specials to fit any budget, only at Mercedes-Benz of Mobile. If you thought you couldn't afford a Mercedes, think again. Mercedes-Benz of Mobile has your lifestyle and budget in mind. Come and visit our showroom on Dolphin Street or go to mbmobile.com for details. When I say affordable, I really mean it. Only at Mercedes-Benz of Mobile.
I'm Scott Armstrong with Kimco Metal Buildings. Whether you need a building for commercial, storage, church, or community use, Kimco has been designing and constructing the highest quality steel buildings for our customers for almost 50 years. Kimco will use state-of-the-art software and our many years of experience to help you custom design your new metal building. Check out our website at kimcobuildings.com. That's KEMKO, or call us at 251-626-0594.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
Look for a new accident in front of the Christ United Methodist Church at Greenlawn. You've got emergency units on scene there. And, of course, our big thing this morning remains ongoing problems with the weather. You've got a lot of high water remaining, Lott Road to the Escatawpa River, Dauphin Island Parkway, and Marina Drive, to name just a few. The Causeway drivers are really having a bit of a tough time today. The eastbound side has been compromised by water that's been pushed up from the bay and has been covering that right lane of traffic. The bridge is not closed, but you do have restrictions there. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation.
Hey everybody, I'm Eric Church, asking you to join me in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS through the T.J. Martell Foundation. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn about music's promise for a cure.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Southern Cancer Center. Weather Center.
Good morning, everybody. You're going to have to dodge more lightning bolts and heavy downpours. Another tropical Thursday along the Gulf Coast. Our coverage today will be at 80%. We're also under a tornado watch until 1 p.m. This is for everybody in our viewing area. Highs today will reach the mid-80s. A 40% chance of storms for your Thursday. It will get warmer, though, with a high of 87. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
Roll Tide. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, we're going to keep you updated on the latest impacts of the weather from Tropical Storm Cindy. Before we get to any of that, we have arrived at the Daily Reagan. The Daily Reagan is a presentation of SAD Healthcare. That's spelled with two A's, S-A-A-D, sadhealthcare.com. Here is the president.
Well, whether I agree or disagree with some individual or what he may say or how he may say it, I don't think there's any way that we can suggest that because people believe in God and go to church, that they should not want reflected in those people and those causes they support their own belief in morality and in the high traditions and principles which we've abandoned so much in this country. Going around this country, I think that I have found a great hunger in America for a spiritual revival, for a belief that law must be based on a higher law, for a return to traditions and values that we once had. Our government, in its most sacred documents, the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and all, speak of man being created, of a creator, that we're a nation under God.
The Daily Reagan, a presentation of SAD Healthcare, S-A-A-D, sadhealthcare.com. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Ed Ahrens is here with me from malfinancial.com, McNeil Ahrens Lambert Financial Group. He's going to be here for the next several hours. He's going to be here for the 9 o'clock hour. Now, we had planned to talk with Darwin Singleton of Local 15 here, but I'm gonna guess it's weather related. That our phone system is out for all of our phones are out. All the phone lines are out, so no one can call in. You said you tried to call in and you weren't able to get in.
Right, we got all the lines are tied up.
Okay, so I don't know if it's just us or if it's a local area that is affected, but we're unable to make contact with Darwin, but we still have the technology for him to add updated news items for us, and he indicated that he has got a brand new update on the way in just a few minutes that we'll be able to have for you here on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 The Jag and our other iHeartRadio stations. And we've talked so much yesterday and today about the impact of all of the rain, the spots that we all kind of know, the spots that usually flood. We were talking about how there was a camera truck on the causeway because we know that's the first place that's going to flood.
Right.
But this kind of weather is where we learn about other places that don't normally flood and find out that they're a little susceptible to it. Now, what about your neighborhood on the Eastern Shore? Everything okay? Good drainage there?
Yeah, everything's good. Both houses.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now-
One down at Point Clear is fine, and checked on it last night. And the one on the north side of Fairhope is fine. Good drainage there also.
Now we have problems locally and have for years with sewage overflows. Whenever we have tremendous rain, there's not a capacity to handle it, and we have sewage overflows into the bay, and it causes problems. And this is something that is monitored by a variety of people, including the Mobile Baykeeper organization. I found they have a map on their website where you can look and see where there have been overflows. And I was looking at this map. Yes, I'm the kind of person. I've reached an age where I'm going to look at a sewage overflow map. I was looking, yes. Now, many people watch Netflix and watch HBO. I'm looking at the sewage overflow map. And there I was looking on the sewage overflow map, and I saw my street. And there was a spot on my street that was designated as a sewage overflow spot. And I thought, wow, I'd never noticed this before. And I didn't think much of it later, but yesterday, after all the torrential rain, in a break during the rain, I did take a walk around the neighborhood, and I walked by that spot and did see a manhole cover that was partially lifted up that was just spewing water out of the manhole cover.
Oh.
That we'd reached that, we'd had that much rain, the pressure had built up, the manhole cover was up, and there was water going everywhere.
Interesting that they've already pinpointed that on the website.
It really is. And of course, we love this time. This is the time of year when we love to get out in the water and enjoy the water with our families. And after a rain like this, you've got to be very, very careful that there's not something in the water that can make you sick.
Right, especially if you have a cut or something like that.
Yeah, so that's
Very
something.
dangerous.
Even when the rain lets up, we'll have to consider that for many, many days afterwards. And Baykeeper does have resources where they let you know when it's been tested and it is safe to get back in the water after all of that. So it's every now and again we have that conversation locally about what to do about all these overflows. And that conversation will be coming up in the next few weeks, I'm sure, after this tremendous amount of rain. And we're really only in the beginning of hurricane season.
Yeah.
And
just
tropical
getting
weather.
started.
All right, well, we do have coming up here in just a few minutes yet another look at traffic and weather. And we're hearing, as the morning has gone on, more spots becoming impassable. Ed Aarons, you mentioned that when you came through, they had not yet closed the ramps on the causeway, but now they are.
That's my understanding.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind, that as we have more rain headed in, that some spots are going to be impassable that were passable just an hour or two ago. So keep it in mind if you have to be out and about for any reason. But it's good that you don't have to be out and about for any reason with more rain on the way.
Yeah, maybe the alternative of taking the causeway as opposed to going across on the Bayway may not be an option today.
Exactly.
May have to stay on the Bayway.
All right, well, we're about to take a break. We have for you news, traffic, weather, and all of that. Coming up later in the morning, probably in about 30 minutes, we'll have some updated stuff from Darwin Singleton that we can share with you here on all of our radio stations. Thank you for listening, and please stick with us as we continue to cover the impact of Cindy here on The Uncle Henry Show.
iHeart Radio does something no other app or website can do. Thousands of live radio stations you can take anywhere. Want to listen to that station in Denver, but you're in Philly? No problem. In Austin, but you miss Seattle? No problem. Plus, iHeart Radio lets you create your own custom artist stations.
Hey, this is Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue on iHeart Radio.
Just type in the artist you love, and iHeart Radio creates a station just for you. Free radio and unlimited music all in one app. iHeart Radio.
When smart businesses need to grow their team, they do it on the site proven to deliver, Indeed.com. According to an independent study, Indeed delivers 5 times more hires than any other job site, more hires than the rest combined. And right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, boosting your listing in relevant search results. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Angelo's here from Mobile Bay Coins. Angelo, why do people collect coins?
Well, Uncle Henry, if you go way back in time, we're really all hunter-gatherers at heart. Some of us are hunters, and we're out there, ooh, and we want that big trophy.
We're out there, who?
Well, yeah, you think about it. Back in the day, you're out there hunting. You're hunting for food for the family. You're going to drag a deer or a moose or something back to the
So coins
cave.
are like moose?
They are. You want the biggest and best one to show off to your family and say, look at this moose. Look at this beautiful coin I got. This is the best one that's out there. And that is something you can put on the wall and show off and be impressive with.
So can you help me hunt and gather at Mobile Bay Coins?
We certainly can. Whether you want to hunt for the best coin for your collection that is going to be put on the wall and you're going to brag about it, or if you're a gatherer and you just want to have a big old pile of silver or gold there that you can show off to your family, we can help you make that happen.
It's all very primal. Hunting and gathering, coin collecting, Mobile Bay Coins, 2204 Government Street, Midtown Mobile. Look for them on Facebook.
Your severe weather station. This is News Radio 710 WNTM Mobile, an iHeart radio station, 99.9 WMXC HD3 Mobile. 710 Time Saver Traffic from the Dean McCrary Porsche Traffic Center.
All right, we picked up a significant now problem spot affecting Bayway traffic. If you're traveling westbound I-10 at about mile marker 32, that is going to be a bit before that causeway interchange in Mid-Bay. We have an accident that is blocking the left lane. Delay from this is already built back for a couple of miles back into the Daphne area. So budget time here or stick with the causeway. Remember, though, on the Causeway Drive, you do have restrictions due to high water. I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by Unbound. In places around the world, there are elders who long for community, connection, and the opportunity to live with greater dignity. Sponsor an elder through Unbound and help bring a brighter tomorrow to one person who has helped us all build a better world. Meet one at unbound.org.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Chemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
It is Friday Eve, the weekend so close, and it looks like we're still going to be dealing with some soggy conditions. For your Thursday, an 80% chance of wet weather. We'll top out at 84, and by the way, we are under a tornado watch until 1 p.m. Lows tonight in the 70s, and for your TGIF, a high of 87, also a 40% chance of wet weather. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News and this iHeartRadio station.
A health care plan crafted in private goes public today. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Do you agree with Donald Trump on anything? Oh, no, yes, you do.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer rallying Democrats outside the Capitol.
Is Donald Trump right? Is this bill mean?
He says Republicans wrote their Obamacare replacement plan in secret because they're ashamed of it. Republicans say Democrats don't want to participate as they give details of their health care bill later today.
It is very interesting to watch Republican senators and how skittish they are about this piece of legislation. Lisa Murkowski, who's a moderate Republican from Alaska, was asked in the hallway, do you have a second to talk about the health care bill? And she kind of ran into the Senate chamber, and over her shoulder she hollered, well, not really. You have a number of senators, both conservatives and moderates, who are very jittery about this bill.
Fox's Chad Pergram at the Capitol.
Can't guarantee anything, but I hope we're going to surprise you with a really good plan. You know, I've been talking about a plan with heart.
President Trump last night on the health care bill at a rally in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, calling Democrats obstructionists, pushing his agenda, including immigration reform.
Those coming to our country must embrace our values and love our people.
He wants legislation that those who come here should not be able to get welfare for 5 years. There will be tears in Ohio this hour at the funeral for Otto Warmbier. Fox's Jeff Manasso has more live.
Day of the life of the 22-year-old University of Virginia student is celebrated today at his high school auditorium in Wyoming, Ohio, where scores of people have gathered over a year after Wombier was held, sent to prison in North Korea for allegedly stealing a poster and, according to his family, tortured. Wombier was brought back last week in a vegetative state and died this week. The cause is still unknown, Dave.
Jeff, Tropical Storm Cindy keeps pouring down from Texas to Florida, flooding coastal areas. The storm led to the death of a boy in Alabama. Fox News, fair and balanced.
An overnight standoff with Mobile and Pritchard police is over. It happened on South Craft Highway overnight after 3 men robbed a Walgreens on Spring Hill Avenue, then barricaded themselves in a house on that street on South Craft Highway. The police had to use gas to get the men out, but they say they have made 3 arrests. The standoff is over. No one was injured. We'll be having more on this story as the day progresses.
Now, your iHeartRadio new release rundown.
After her big breakthrough with 2013's Pure Heroine, Lorde releases her follow-up with second studio album Melodrama. Its lead single is the international hit Green Light. Wasilla, Alaska-based rock quintet Portugal the Man dropped their 8th studio album, Woodstock, now available in stores and online. Feel It Still, the album's second single, is a top 5 hit on both the alternative and rock charts. And barely 8 months after his Hibachi for Lunch mixtape, rapper 2 Chainz puts out his 4th full studio album, Pretty Girls Like Trap Music. Its single, Good Drank, features vocals from Gucci Mane and Quavo.
Good drink, big nuts, good drone. I put a 4 on the rocks, drop top, no hot box.
That's this week's iHeartRadio new release rundown. From the Mercedes-Benz of Mobile Studios, this is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM The Jag. Here with Ed Aarons, McNeil Aarons Lambert Financial Group, malfinancial.com. Ed will be here for the next several hours, including the 9 o'clock hour on WNTM. Ed Aarons braving the drive in from the Eastern Shore.
It was fun.
I'm sure that it was. And Ed told it. Now, see, I'd made an incorrect assumption. We're keeping you up to date, by the way, on all the latest on the weather impacts from the tropical storm, including traffic and weather every 10 minutes for you. And I had made an assumption that the commute would be better today simply because we started the morning with no rain locally. But Ed Aarons, you corrected me and said that even though we didn't have the rain, there was a lot more water on the road from yesterday.
Right. There was, and yesterday the wind was such that the waves were just breaking against the seawall on the causeway. This morning, though, the waves are breaking over the seawall, so the water's getting on the road and filling up the access ramps and so forth, and that's why they've closed a lot of the access ramps from the causeway up onto the bayway.
Okay, well, we're gonna keep an eye on it for you throughout the day here on all of our iHeartRadio stations. As we're watching the radar, and we still have bands of heavy rain from the tropical system. It's moving very slowly. Right now, it looks like we're just now beginning to get a little bit of it in Mobile County. But for the last 2 to 3 hours, it's just been hanging right over Biloxi and Loosedale in that area. So we're going to be getting it, and I hope that it doesn't hang on top of us as long as it has apparently been hanging over Biloxi. Because it looks like quite a bit of rain.
Yeah, we're already super saturated.
We certainly are. We're learning a lot about where our water goes under these situations by watching all that we've watched this week. We're going to keep you up to date on all of that as we go forward this hour, and also throw in a few other stories as well. I know I was just listening to the national news here with the fact that we're going to get details of a health care bill this morning from the Republicans. The Fox News update, they were talking about how some lawmakers are really worried about it, about the reception of it among their constituents. So that's already not a great sign. If they've had all these years to work on something and they're just now coming out with something and some lawmakers are scared of it and don't want to talk about it.
Well, I think a lot of it's related to the political correctness of it and what it's going to do impact-wise. And if you're a representative or a congressman from an area that is, pretty basically lower income, then it's going to be tough if you vote against something that's going to give, free medical care.
We'll get more into that as we continue, but first, traffic and weather. We do it together every 10 minutes on the 9s.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
A 3-vehicle accident that blocked the left lane of westbound I-10. Milepost 32 on the Bayway has been cleared. All lanes there are back open, but heavy delays remain back to before the Daphne exit, so you're going to lose a few minutes there. And meantime, if you're traveling on the eastbound side of the causeway, you can't do that anymore. Because of high water, officials have closed the eastbound side of the causeway, going to be diverted to I-10, and have to use that across the bay instead. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Southern Cancer Center. Weather Center.
More thunder expected on this Thursday, and we also have a tornado watch for our entire viewing area until 1 p.m. An 80% chance of rainstorms, a high today of 84, a muggy night in the 70s, less rain for your TGIF. Friday will bring a 40% chance of showers. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
This report is brought to you by Unbound. There's a girl in El Salvador who dreams of becoming an engineer. There's an elder in Uganda who dreams of having a community to call his own. No two dreams are the same. Help one person achieve theirs at unbound.org.
Download iHeartRadio and get News Radio 710 WNTM on the go. Your home for traffic and weather on the 9s every morning. This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening, keeping you updated on all the impact of the weather as it's getting a bit worse this morning with more rain on the way. Here with Ed Aarons, McNeil Aarons Lambert Financial Group. We were talking earlier, there were some power outages locally yesterday. I don't know if there are many now, but there were some yesterday. I know that some people in downtown Mobile lost power. And in my neighborhood in Midtown, power was out for about 90 minutes. So dealing with that, I brought this up to Ed Aarons last hour, and Ed talked to us about how his business has had power outages this year that were not weather-related. They were squirrel-related. You explained that the squirrels were they were climbing into the top of something and eating power lines.
Right. They're eating the insulation off the power line.
And so I've gotten another email. People strangely have stories to tell. So again, we'll keep you updated on the weather, but a quick squirrel story. The subject line on the email is squirrel and power outage. Email reads, Uncle Henry, several summers ago I had an incident where a squirrel caused a power outage at my house. I called the power company. They found the dead squirrel by the transformer on the wire leading to my house. The repairman flipped the dead squirrel off the line into my flower bed and left it there. It was near 100 degrees, and the squirrel laid there all day until my husband came home from work and disposed of it. I was a little put out by this, as I had my grandchildren that day, but was not able to get out in the yard due to a foot injury. Maybe I was expecting too much, but it would have been a nice gesture if they had removed the dead squirrel for me. And that email from VK. Now, Ed Aarons, are you aware of how the squirrels were disposed of with your squirrel incident? or instances?
I am not. The apparently the squirrels were up at the top of the pole where the power line connects from the main power source, and then goes down the pole underground and then into our building. And so I think the squirrel might have been up in the very top of that pole where the access port was to the power line, and so we didn't have to worry about the squirrel.
Okay. All right. Well,
we maybe should have had a funeral for it, but
well, I'm sure
missed out on that.
To the listener, thank you, VK, for sharing us the story of your squirrel, and how on a day that it was very warm, there was much discomfort with the squirrel in your flower bed. As people get older, the flower bed is very important, the integrity of the flower bed, and we like to maintain. In fact, I get embarrassed when people visit me and I have not properly maintained my flower beds. And so I understand where VK is coming from, and especially with grandchildren. All right, look, we're going to be taking a look at traffic and weather again here for you. We do it every 10 minutes on the 9s, keep you updated on the weather, and especially whether roads are impassable or not, because even as Ed Aarons and I have been here together for the last hour, Ed's not been here a full hour, we've already had some roads declared impassable. And a lot of this is along major routes, so pay attention to that. I think you were saying that a lane of the causeway?
Yeah, the eastbound lane of the causeway is closed.
Okay, so keep that all in mind. We've got all the latest info for you next with traffic and weather on the Uncle Henry Show.
If you want to sell your house, if you need to sell your house, this message is for you. I'm Uncle Henry, here to tell you about Sandy Frost of Roberts Brothers. Sandy Frost has an established track record of getting homes sold. Her listings sell faster than the average agent's listings. She sells 97% of her listings when the average agent doesn't come close to that. And Sandy's listings sell at about 3% more than other agents' listings. And after years of experience, Sandy Frost continues to grow. She's just earned a new professional distinction. After extensive training, she's become an advanced home marketing specialist. That's a designation that only 1% of agents have available in the country, and allows Sandy to implement a proprietary home marketing system to enhance what she already has developed on her own. You can find out more online at sandyfrost.com, or you can call Sandy Frost at 251-604-6514. If you want to get your home sold, call Sandy Frost. If you're ready for a magnificent man cave, TSI Alarms and Audio will handle your home theater design, equipment, and installation. Call them at 251-662-0500 or visit them online at thetsigroup.com.
Did you know only 20% of job seekers get an interview? In many cases, that's because companies use software to screen applications before anyone ever sees your resume. At Express Employment Professionals, we're your local resource to help you land that new job. Visit your nearby Express office today to speak with real professionals connected to the available jobs in your community. Express has 18,000 jobs available each week and never charges job seekers a fee. Visit expresspros.com to find the office nearest you. That's expresspros.com.
Your Mobile Bay Bears game for this Thursday has been rained out thanks to Tropical Storm Cindy. The game will be made up as part of a doubleheader Friday beginning at 5:05 p.m. Tickets for Thursday's game may be exchanged for seats of equal or lesser value to any future 2017 Bay Bears home game based on availability. Gates open at 4:30 this Friday and stay after the game for post-game fireworks presented by Wind Creek Casino and Hotel. Join the Bay Bears and iHeartMedia this Friday night. We'll see you at the Hang.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-224-5353. That's 1-800-224-5353. 1-800-224-5353. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Dean McCrary Mazda Traffic Center.
A three-vehicle accident that blocked the left lane of westbound I-10. Milepost 32 on the Bayway has been cleared. All lanes there are back open, but heavy delays remain back to before the Daphne exit, so you're going to lose a few minutes there. And meantime, if you're traveling on the eastbound side of the causeway, you can't do that anymore. Because of high water, officials have closed the eastbound side of the causeway, going to be diverted to I-10, and have to use that across the bay instead. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by Always Money. Always Money is the best place to get a title loan. Get up to $10,000 with a clear title to your car. More money in your pocket and low rates. Visit alwaysmoney.com for the store nearest you. Subject to approval.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
Good morning, everybody. You're going to have to dodge more lightning bolts and heavy downpours. Another tropical Thursday along the Gulf Coast. Our coverage today will be at 80%. We're also under a tornado watch until 1 p.m. This is for everybody in our viewing area. Highs today will reach the mid-80s. A 40% chance of storms for your Thursday. It will get warmer, though, with a high of 87. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News and this iHeartRadio station.
I'm Jason Flom, founding board member of the Innocence Project, and my new podcast is Wrongful Conviction, available on iHeartRadio. On Wrongful Conviction, I interview a different exoneree every week and help them to tell their incredible stories of tragedy and triumph against impossible odds. You've got to hear it to believe it. Wrongful Conviction from iHeart Studios, available now on iHeartRadio.
Traffic updates every 10 minutes on the 9s every morning. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Here with Ed Ahrens, McNeil Ahrens Lambert Financial Group, malfinancial.com. You can learn about Ed. Watch a video about the life of Ed at malfinancial.com. We're going to continue to keep you updated on the impact of the weather as we go forward with traffic and weather coming up in about 10 minutes, along with national news from Fox and local news with Darwin Singleton of Local 15. One of the national news stories that the country is following is the unveiling of a health care plan by the Republicans out of the Senate. That is being unveiled today. I've expressed this morning my own personal frustration with this, in that we've had upset in the country for many years about health care insurance, just that entire industry. We had the upset before the Affordable Care Act with President Obama. Then we had more upset after that was passed and the Supreme Court said it was a tax. We've just had continued upset for many, many years. And so I'm frustrated, Ed Ahrens, because we've had our leaders have had years, literally, to come up with an alternative. And the idea that they haven't come up with one yet, that they were still working on one yesterday, is frustrating to me. It's to me, I think we should have had this ready 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
At the least.
Very definitely.
Now, you mentioned how politically dangerous it is for Congress people that have a lot of people in poverty in their district, because you'll be seen possibly as taking away an entitlement.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And so everybody's trying to stage everything to be politically correct. And particularly as it relates to how am I going to get elected again in the next election, and who are the people and my constituents in my district, how dependent are they on Obamacare and so forth. And if we change it around too much and we take away some of their benefits, then they're not going to vote for me, so I may not get reelected.
And when it comes to people in poverty in a district, the state of Alabama, if you were to look at a map that showed how many people are eligible for Medicaid, you would be astonished at how many people in this state are eligible for Medicaid. In fact, we were a state that turned down federal expansion because in a few years, federal funding for that expansion would go away and the states would have to pick up the slack. And for us to expand it the way we were asked to do so during the Obama years, we would have had to go sky high on our taxes to be able to afford it, because we have so many people that are eligible for it. Maybe not necessarily in our high population counties around our major cities in the state or our bigger cities in the state, but in a lot of rural Alabama, it's just amazing how many people are eligible for it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can remember when my wife was in a nursing home and they ran into a problem, the nursing home did, with Medicare. And the Medicare people yanked Medicare away from the nursing home, and there were only like 7 people that were private pay in the nursing home that were able to stay. And it was all a result of not obeying a certain law that came in through Medicaid. Interesting, I think, Uncle Henry, that one of the aspects of all new laws is the legality of it and how is it structured and how they have to try to figure out ways to set it up so that people can't defeat the law. And when you take a look at the number of attorneys that we have that are serving in Washington, Barack Obama was a lawyer.
Right.
So was Michelle. Hillary Clinton was a lawyer. Bill Clinton was a lawyer. John Edwards is a lawyer, and Elizabeth Edwards was a lawyer. And every Democratic vice presidential nominee since 1976, except for Lloyd Bentsen, went to law school. But look currently at the leaders in Congress. Nancy Pelosi is a lawyer. Harry Reid is a lawyer. The Republican Party is a little different, though, and that's interesting. Newt Gingrich was a history professor. Tom DeLay was an exterminator. Dick Armey was an economist. House Leader, Minority Leader Boner was a plastic manufacturer. Bill Fisk was a heart surgeon. And who was the last Republican president who was a lawyer? And that was Gerald Ford, who left office 31 years ago. So just when you look at that and the attitudes of the parties and what they're trying to accomplish, it's pretty interesting.
It makes me more curious than ever before about the curriculum at law school.
Yeah.
As to what is learned or what is taught there in law school. Ed Aarons, thank you for that. That I had not heard it through that particular filter of what those professions were, and that is fascinating. Speaking of big-time politics, the President of the United States, while we were talking here, he's been tweeting. He's been tweeting during this segment. So when we come back, I'll share with you the brand new fresh tweets of the President. Coming up, we, of course, have for you traffic and weather. We do that every 10 minutes here on the 9s. So you'll get the latest on the weather and also a brand new news update from Darwin of Local 15. That is next on The Uncle Henry Show.
It was just 2 weeks ago, folks, Politico gleefully reporting the results of a new poll showing that the Pajama Boy had opened a big 7-point lead in the election in Georgia. Politico's writers were beside themselves with happiness. Finally, we're going to cream Trump. Ossoff was buoyed by record fundraising. Tens of millions of dollars poured in from all over the country. His big lead in the poll, which was commissioned by the Atlanta Urinal and Constipation, put him in the catbird seat. An average of all the public polls showed the Republican Karen Handel losing by 4. And then there was the Trump factor. Political consultants said that Trump's unpopularity in the district was badly hurting Handel and would hurt any other Republican running in a similar district. Politico said that these voters were affluent and well-educated, not the kind of people to support Trump or Republicans. The Pajama Boy was, according to the polling, going to get 13 to 15% of the Republican vote. Democrats lost 3 special elections before this one. They claimed victory after every one, but in Georgia, Ossoff was going to blow it out. Handel was toast. Now, at the time, with the Ossoff pre-election victory celebration at full tilt in the media, I predicted he would lose, without doubt. Today, the smoke is cleared. The Washington Post headline, Democrats despondent. Trump emboldened after GOP victory, Georgia special election. The big lesson here, folks, once again, do not doubt me, ever.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
Well, most of our attention this morning has been centered on the causeway. If you're traveling in the westbound direction, there looks like a good 2 to 3 mile long backup approaching that I-10 interchange at Mid-Bay. A lot of traffic diverted to the causeway when we had that earlier Bayway accident. That is now gone. In fact, the Bayway is a much better trip to get across the bay this morning in the westbound direction. Eastbound direction, we still have the full closure of causeway due to high water on that side of the road. It can be diverted to I-10 as your alternate. I'm Ray Romero.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Southern Cancer Center. Weather Center.
It is Friday Eve, the weekend so close, and it looks like we're still going to be dealing with some soggy conditions. For your Thursday, an 80% chance of wet weather. We'll top out at 84, and by the way, we are under a tornado watch until 1 p.m. Lows tonight in the 70s, and for your TGIF, a high of 87, also a 40% chance of wet weather. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News and this iHeartRadio station.
Cindy may be inland, but her effects still being felt here on the Gulf Coast. I'm Local 15's Darwin Singleton with this iHeartRadio news update. Eastbound lanes on the causeway right now blocked by rising water, and westbound lanes are at a standstill on the causeway as high tide and Cindy clash on the Gulf Coast. Our area remains under a tornado watch, and flash flood watches also remain in effect as more waves of rain, heavy at times, move across our area in association with Tropical Storm Cindy. Some isolated storms may drop additional inches of rain near coastlines. Local 15's Megan Gannon is reporting waves at Gulf Shores between 8 and 10 feet today, and double red flags are flying for the third day in a row, a sign to stay out of the water. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey is set to hold a news conference at noon today to discuss the state's response to Cindy. The storm has already claimed the life of a 10-year-old boy visiting Fort Morgan from St. Louis. Officials say he and his family were walking along the beach in Fort Morgan when a large wave came crashing ashore, causing a large piece of floating timber on the beach to roll on top of him. That timber was described as being 14 feet long and as wide as a large trash bin. That child has not been identified at this time. A drugstore robbery last night led to an overnight standoff with Mobile police. MPD telling Local 15 News the men held up the Walgreens pharmacy on Spring Hill Avenue late last night. Then they led police on a chase to a house on South Craft Highway near Pritchard and Chickasaw. That's where the trio barricaded themselves in the house until police filled it with tear gas. The men surrendered. No one was hurt. She may be out of the Gulf, but for us, Tropical Storm Cindy is not over. Local 15 News and iHeartRadio will continue to gather and report the news you need to know until Cindy is gone. I'm Local 15's Darwin Singleton, reporting for this iHeartRadio station.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. Republican senators are meeting right now to look at health care plan being made public later today.
Democrats have complained they were shut out of the process of crafting the bill. Republican Senator John Thune.
Democrats have demonstrated no interest whatsoever in participating in this, and we have to frankly fix the mess that they created.
Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is working to gather support among GOP lawmakers who remain divided. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer claims he doesn't have the votes.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland in D.C. Tropical storm Cindy is getting weaker over land now, dumping a lot of rain on parts of the Gulf Coast.
Before it is all said and done, forecasters say Cindy could dump 6 to 9 inches of rain on the Gulf Coast states, from the Florida Panhandle all the way to Texas. 13 inches of rain in some isolated spots.
Fox's Casey Stiegel in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Fox News. We report, you decide.
RVs Unlimited in Robertsdale, new and pre-owned. RVsunlimited.com.
With Quicken Loans, our simple process helps you understand all the details so you can be confident that you're getting the right mortgage. Call 800-QUICKEN or go completely online with Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.23%. Call 800-QUICKEN or get started online at rocketmortgage.com. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Did you know only 20% of job seekers get an interview? In many cases, that's because companies use software to screen applications before anyone ever sees your resume. At Express Employment Professionals, we're your local resource to help you land that new job. Visit your nearby Express office today to speak with real professionals connected to the available jobs in your community. Express has 18,000 jobs available each week and never charges job seekers a fee. Visit ExpressPros.com to find the office nearest you. That's expresspros.com.
When you're hiring for a growing business, you don't need lots of candidates. You need the right candidates. You need Indeed.com. With an algorithm that positions your job post where quality candidates are, and screener questions that help you zero in on the best talent. Indeed.com, the site proven through an independent study to deliver 5 times more hires than any other. New users claim your $50 credit for a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
News? Check. Traffic and weather? Check. Opinions? Check. This is the Uncle Henry Show, only on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Here for the next 90 minutes with Ed Aarons, McNeil Aarons Lambert Financial Group. He'll be here for the next hour on WNTM with Ask the Expert. And we're keeping you up to date, not just now, but throughout the day on any weather impacts with the remainder of Tropical Storm Cindy. Even though we haven't had a lot of rain yet this morning, it is starting to move in now from west to east into Mobile County. And we've been listening. You got to see it firsthand, the impacts on the causeway. And we're hearing more about the causeway, at least I guess it's eastbound is impassable now.
Right, it's closed. On
the causeway. So we'll keep you up to date on that as we move forward throughout the day on News Radio 710 WNTM, also on the JAG and on all of our iHeart radio stations. Now, I mentioned before we went into the news traffic weather break that the President of the United States, Donald Trump, has been tweeting this morning, and he tweeted just a few minutes ago. Tweet number 1. Former Homeland Security Advisor Johnson is latest top intelligence official to state there was no grand scheme between Trump and Russia. So that's tweet number 1. Tweet number 2, by the way, if Russia was working so hard on the 2016 election, it all took place during the Obama administration. Why didn't they stop them? So 2 more tweets, and they're once again about that topic that I don't know about. Maybe you're fascinated with it. I'm not. I've heard about all I could care to hear about that particular topic, but it's still a bone of contention in Washington with hearings and things like that. So the president tweeting about that today. Another thing that we've already talked about this morning was North Korea. Ed Aarons, you mentioned to me that you read that they may be moving now away from atomic missiles. Is that what you saw?
Yeah, I read an article late yesterday afternoon that basically said that North Korea was evaluating the possibility of stopping nuclear testing.
Well, that is a very different tone than what we've heard over the past several years.
Oh, yeah. But apparently China has begun to put some influence on North Korea. I doubt that anything that comes from South Korea would have much of an influence on what North Korea does, but there's a possibility. But somehow it looks like the wheels are turning in the right direction right now. We'll just have to wait and see where it eventually winds up.
Well, it's been in the wrong direction for so long.
Yeah.
It would be a great thing to not have that particular worry. They still can't reach us yet, but there are other countries nearby that I'm sure are very spooked by North Korea and their missiles. And just the unusual nature of that leader, not knowing what he might be capable of.
Yeah.
All right, we continue to check traffic and weather for you every 10 minutes. That is next. We're back with more Uncle Henry Show in just 90 seconds.
There's a backup of at least 2 to 3 miles in length on the westbound side of the causeway right before the I-10 interchange. You've got a couple of emergency crews there that are blocking the left lane of traffic. You're only passing in the right lane, but at least you're passing. Eastbound causeway drivers aren't passing at all. Water continues to crash across the eastbound side of the bridge. That has the eastbound causeway closed. As you come out of the Bankhead, it's going to be diverted up to I-10 as your alternate. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by Planet Fitness. Join Planet Fitness now for just $10 a month. You're in a judgment-free zone where you can go at your own pace whenever you want. It's only $10 a month, and you receive unlimited fitness training with your membership. The world judges. We don't. Planet Fitness. Be free.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
More thunder expected on this Thursday, and we also have a tornado watch for our entire viewing area until 1 p.m. An 80% chance of rainstorms, a high today of 84, a muggy night in the 70s, less rain for your TGIF. Friday will bring a 40% chance of showers. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
This report is brought to you by Always Money. Always Money is the best place to get a title loan. Get up to $10,000 with a clear title to your car. More money in your pocket and low rates. Visit alwaysmoney.com for the store nearest you. Subject to approval.
You're home for Rush every weekday at 11. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening. We'll have more on the traffic and weather in 10 minutes. Here with Ed Ahrens, McNeil Ahrens Lambert Financial Group. You've been here for a long, long time, Ed Ahrens. Have you ever been in a spot that was flood prone?
Uncle Henry, I can't remember.
You've been here so long you can't remember.
I can't remember. Yeah, that's part of my excuse.
Well, I heard some people were being asked the question. I can't remember where I heard this. I can't remember that. But they were being asked what their earliest childhood memory was, and I thought I can't for the life of me tell you any early childhood memory. So let alone where I may have been in some flooded area. So just curious about that. I do have an email on flood-prone areas. Let me go to the email inbox. Subject line on the email is double wide advantage. Email reads, Uncle Henry, I live in a double wide, and it sits 3.5 feet off the ground on a slight hill. So no flooding, roll tide roll. And that email from 60-year-old Chris in West Loxley, who has it all figured out. We've always been cautioned about being in that type of housing. When there's a wind event, that's something that you have to be very concerned about.
Tornadoes are a little bit
different,
a little tough on on trailers.
Yes, they're tough. Well, they can be tough on just about anything.
Yeah.
I lived in an area years ago, back in the 90s, where there were it was a terrible tornado outbreak, as we have seen here in our state. But I remember that neighborhood. It was like a bomb went off, where everything was flattened to the ground.
Mhm.
I mean, there was just nothing left. So that's a little bit different from just a high wind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I lived in West Mobile for 35 years. But I can remember when 3 Mile Creek flooded all those
Mhm.
beautiful homes down around the infirmary.
Yes.
And that's when I kind of became aware of the flooding capabilities that we have in our area.
Yeah, it's been years since 3 Mile Creek was, but for a while that was a big topic in town about what to do about that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and we've been joined here, sneaking into the studio, Virginia McNeil O'Brien is here.
I've been dealing with the remnants of Cindy this morning. I woke up and went out, and my husband went out to the garden and noticed that some things had been blown over, and it had everything, fruit or vegetables have fallen off and rotted and things like that. So I went and looked out there before I left, and there was the wind has kind of picked up here in the last couple.
Yes, it has.
And so I went and looked outside, and there was a bell pepper plant flopped over and 2 tomato plants flopped over. So I went out there, had to go back, take another shower because I got all up in. So it's been a morning, but we lost power last night in our neighborhood. Were you home?
Yes,
during the power outage?
absolutely. It was a wonderful time to sit and reflect on life.
We played. Yeah, Gray and I played some gin rummy, and so it was kind of nice. It wasn't too long without it. When it gets to be a problem is when we have all electric appliances, and so we had stuff planned to cook without any means of cooking it without firing up the grill, of which we didn't really have any charcoal at the time. We only have a charcoal grill, so.
All right, we have to take a break. We have to take a break. We'll get back. More impact of Cindy, including flopping bell pepper. We'll get into that, but right now, coming up in a moment, traffic and weather together.
Radio for real men.
Surprise, surprise.
The Rush Revolution rolls on. Weekdays at 11, News Radio 710, WNTM.
This is Uncle Henry. I want to tell you about Dr. Thomas Bender and Advanced Dermatology and Skincare Center. We love living on the Gulf Coast. We love all the fun activities, the fishing, the golf. But years of being out in the elements, well, that can accelerate damage to your skin. That can accelerate the aging process of your skin. Dr. Bender can help you with that. Dr. Bender is a board-certified dermatologist. He provides the latest innovations in medical skincare and cosmetic skincare, and he also has all the latest technology. He's got 3 convenient locations, Mobile, Daphne, and Bay Minette. You can find out more about Dr. Bender and all of the services he provides by going online. The website is advanceddermclinic.com. That's advanceddermclinic.com. You can make an appointment there online, or you can call for your appointment. The number is 251-631-3570. That's Advanced Dermatology and Skincare Center.
At Mercedes-Benz of Mobile, servicing the customer always comes first. If your Mercedes is in need of repair or general maintenance, come see us at our state-of-the-art service center on Dolphin Street. Our highly certified auto technicians are equipped with the latest tools and technologies to take care of your Mercedes or any other luxury vehicle, including Lexus, BMW, Audi, and Jaguar. Give your car a little TLC and visit our service center at 3060 Dolphin Street today. Mercedes-Benz of Mobile, doing our part to keep you moving forward.
If you're looking for a chiropractor, check out my chiropractor, Dr. Call, at Mobile Chiropractic Associates. You can call them at 251-341-1211. Online, chiroassociates.com. Hey, this is Uncle Henry. I want to tell you about a dentist I found in Mobile named H. Radcliffe Brown Jr. When I moved back to town, I asked people if they could recommend a dentist, and they recommended Radcliffe Brown. I had a cracked tooth. I needed a crown on it. I went to see Dr. Brown at his office, 1501 University Boulevard, and he had just remodeled with state-of-the-art technology. So he was able to make the crown for me while I waited. It was a same-day crown, no temporary crown, and it fit perfectly. Dr. Brown has a family-friendly practice. He offers a wide range of services, including cleanings, whitening, cosmetic bonding, the same-day crowns I just told you about, veneers, bridges, dentures, partials. He restores implants. If you're a new patient, you can get a new patient appointment within just a few days. Remember the name. It's H. Radcliffe Brown, Jr. Call him at 251-342-5636. While his website is under construction, you can look for him on Facebook. Look for H. Radcliffe Brown, Jr. Dentist on Facebook.
You don't want to mess with the IRS. They have the power to garnish your paycheck, levy your bank accounts, and even take your home or business. That's all true. But thankfully, they're offering a way out. The Fresh Start Initiative. If you qualify, it could save you thousands. The experts at Optima Tax Relief will fight to get you the best possible tax settlement. And they have an A rating with the Better Business Bureau to prove it. Call Optima for your free consultation.
Call 800-960-1575. 800-960-1575.
A delay on the westbound side of the causeway has now reached about 4 miles in length. The left lane remains blocked up around that I-10 interchange at Mid-Bay. You may want to just stick with the Bayway as your alternate route. Now, that said, at westbound Bayway Drive has had a little moderate slowing over the last several minutes, kind of redeveloping there, but it is a quicker trip into Mobile than the causeway. Meantime, the eastbound side of the causeway remains completely closed due to high water. They're going to be diverted to I-10 instead. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This month at participating Napa stores, Valvoline Full Synthetic Motor Oil is on sale for just $5.59 a quart. Take advantage now and protect your engine from the heat all summer long. General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state and local taxes or recycling fees. This month at participating Napa stores, Valvoline Full Synthetic Motor Oil is on sale for just $5.59 a quart. Take advantage now and protect your engine from the heat all summer long. General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state and local taxes or recycling fees.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Southern Cancer Center. Weather Center.
Good morning, everybody. You're going to have to dodge more lightning bolts and heavy downpours. Another tropical Thursday along the Gulf Coast. Our coverage today will be at 80%. We're also under a tornado watch until 1 p.m. This is for everybody in our viewing area. Highs today will reach the mid-80s. A 40% chance of storms for your Thursday. It will get warmer, though, with a high of 87. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News and this iHeartRadio station.
We love Nick Saban. Just wanted to get that out of the way. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM, 99.5 FM, The Jag. Here with Ed Aarons and Virginia McNeil O'Brien of McNeil Aarons Lambert Financial Group, malfinancial.com. They're going to be here with me for the next hour on WNTM. And we're going to continue to update you on both WNTM, The Jag, and all of our iHeartRadio stations throughout the day with the conditions as we conditions were better at 5 o'clock in the morning than they are now when it comes to driving, as we've had impassable roads now with part of the causeway and more rain on the way. I've been watching the radar over the past 4 hours, and we're beginning to get more rain in Mobile County moving from west to east, and this rain has been sitting over Biloxi all morning, so it's moving slow. So we're gonna get quite a bit here. It looks like.
Let's hope it dumped everything on Biloxi and doesn't have anything left when it just does.
Oh, it would be wonderful if it had. No offense to the people of Biloxi, but we've had our fill.
Yeah, well, and everything's so saturated, and the wind's kind of picking up. It's kind of that's when trees start blowing over and everything else.
Right, and we talked earlier about power outages because we had some in different spots yesterday. I know downtown Mobile had some outages. I know that Midtown Mobile had some outages. Virginia McNeil O'Brien unable to use her electric appliances. All of these things. And when you have limbs touching power lines, that causes big problems.
Mm-hmm.
Big problems. So
almost as much as squirrels eating power lines.
Yeah, we've had that happen twice this year at our office. We've got some really determined squirrels at our office.
Mm-hmm. So that's part of there at their office. It's beautifully wooded there in Mobile, right off University Boulevard. It's just, you've got beautiful trees, but there comes the squirrels with it. When you have the beautiful trees, you have the nature living in them.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they've eaten the power lines there. But we'll keep you updated as we go on throughout the day on all of our stations, and of course here on WNTM. So, in other news, other than the impact of Cindy, I talked earlier this morning about a man in Texas who he wants to further his career. Virginia McNeil O'Brien. He's a YouTube star, Hispanic man named Ernesto, and so he paid to change his name legally to Trump. He's now Ernesto Trump, and he feels like this will help him in his career.
Huh.
Have you ever thought of changing your name? I guess in your family you'd be disowned.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, I have legally changed my name to O'Brien.
Right, and I was thinking that in our culture, women are far more likely probably to have thought about it, because if they go traditional, they do change their name.
Yeah, now I was Virginia Albright McNeil. Well, that was my legal, that's my born name. And then so when I got married, there's only so many spots on your driver's license that you can fill up. So Virginia Albright McNeil O'Brien is just kind of a lot. That's a lot. So I dropped the Albright legally, and now it's just Virginia McNeil O'Brien. And in the industry, I usually go by Virginia McNeil O'Brien because I've just gotten married a little over a year ago. So Virginia O'Brien, nobody really knows who that is yet,
right.
But socially and everything else, just for, I don't hyphenate. I didn't hyphenate my name or anything like that. So
well, I'm sure it's a challenge for women in the workplace. Modern professional women trying to maintain that you build a reputation with one name, and then you get another name.
Yeah.
So do you keep, for professional purposes, one name and then use the other? I can see how there'd be a lot of different opinions on that.
Yeah, I know people that have done that. I also know of, I don't know this person, but I know of somebody who the husband took the wife's name. Last name.
That it doesn't happen often.
No, especially not in the South. I mean,
but you know someone.
I know
did
of
that.
somebody. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to say any names, but I know
Right.
I've heard of this person, and I think that's more power to him.
Was the wife a big earner?
I don't know. I don't know about the finances of. Now, I don't know anything about the who was the breadwinner and who wasn't, but I think maybe more established in their career.
Okay.
Was I don't know about the finance part of it, but maybe a little more established in the career, a little more of a public career.
We've only got a couple of minutes left. We've got to grab Ariel for this. Ariel, if you're able to listen and jump in real quick on the topic of the American woman changing her name to take the husband's last name.
Right.
Is this something you see yourself participating in the future, or will you want to keep your name because you're establishing yourself
right.
in a public profession with a set name, a brand?
Okay, so here's the thing. Legally, I still have my married last name.
So
I don't like it. I don't like it. So I identify with my maiden name.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Ariel's kind of like Beyonce.
Yes, I just need one name.
You don't need to. I'm going to be honest, Ariel. I'm a little embarrassed. I don't even know your last name, married or maiden or whatever.
I don't think we've never said it on the show because
There's
she
no
is
need.
Because
Ariel.
Exactly.
you're like Beyonce. I'm like the Ivanka Trump of Mobile. You're like the Beyonce of Mobile.
We are quite a force.
That's it. That's all you need to know.
I like it.
And I'm the Captain Kangaroo of Mobile. Ed Aarons, what are you?
I'm not sure yet. I'm still trying to find that out.
Okay.
Hey, as long as it ain't the Pee Wee Herman, I think
right.
you're doing well.
That's right.
That's right.
Ariel, before we run out of time, will you go and pay to change your married name back to your maiden name?
Absolutely. With no questions asked. Even if they told me $1 million, I'd figure out how to get a GoFundMe account set up to get that $1 million.
I don't think it's $1 million. I think it's probably a few hundred.
Hey, but let's talk about the hassle it is to change your name, Ariel. You and I have both been through
Yikes.
it. That's why women have to change their name, because men just wouldn't do it.
See? Because they cannot be trusted with that type of responsibility.
No, because you have to go to 400 different places and 500 different pieces of paper to fill out, and it's a nightmare.
That's why Wanda goes pretty much by her previously married name.
Yeah, it's too much of a
Right,
hassle.
yeah.
We're out of time. Can you imagine the man that changed his name to his wife's name, how he probably mentions that every 3 days when he gets mad? You know what I did for you? Ariel, thank you. Ariel working very hard behind the scenes today, running around, updating all the weather and the traffic and the news. We're going to be back on WNTM in just a few minutes with our guests. Thank you for listening.
With Quicken Loans, our simple